Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Gamescapes. Today, and only today, I'm here, right, with two very special people. Well, it depends who you ask, you know, very people, you know.
Wow.
We got Chaomix over there. Look at this dude.
What's up?
Well, not much, man. How are you? You good?
I'm doing great, man.
You chilling?
Still vibing off Sonic Frontiers.
Oh yeah, of course.
In like a week and a half. I'm still like I'm riding that high, dude.
I know. Yeah, even in the background here, I just have the Cyberspace music on and everything.
That is exactly what I'm listening to right now.
Good,
too.
perfect.
Oh
And then of course, we have this guy here, Mr. Sam Pro. Sam Pro, did I not? There you go. Thank you. Finally got the AirPods. You did it. I can't believe it. Finally. I'm just so proud he finally did it, man. It just took him so long. Yeah. How are you, Sam? Are you doing well? Are you having a good time?
I'm good, dude. I'm riding
man.
that high too. I mean, Frontiers, you know, it's been great. I'm doing good.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Well, obviously, you know, we have a lot to talk about. I don't know why, right? The way I see it is like, to me, Chaomix like is the smart one. Like he's the one who just knows all the theories and goes into all the crazy details stuff, you know. Sam is like the like, you know, he's like the how do I call you, right? You're like you're a bit stoic, you know. You've got like, you know, you've got the detailed thoughts, you know, and you're always like, I was like, I like this, I don't like that, I'm thinking about this, you know. Very
More
critical of film.
Yeah.
More concise. Yeah. And then you just got me, I'm just like, yay. So we're gonna flow off each other very well. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, of course. So let's start. Obviously, Sonic Frontiers. Now, for those watching, I'll probably timestamp it. We're gonna segment this: opening thoughts, open zones, and favorite stuff, and combat, cyberspace, tie-in story, all that. So let's start. I feel like we should get this out of the way. Just quick opening thoughts. Obviously, let's go. You know, let's go, Sam Pro. You go first, bro. What do you going into this game? How did you feel getting it and all that stuff? Like, give me your opening thoughts on that.
Going into the game, I was going in very excited, but I was maintaining my hype on a decent level where I knew I was like, okay, so there's gonna be parts of this game I'm not gonna like. That's okay. I'm prepared for that. I'm mentally prepared for that. I'm ready to just go into this game that hopefully has something to offer. And after the fact, after playing it, it definitely delivered more than it floundered.
Fumbled.
Yeah. It delivered more than you know. There's more good than bad, and what is bad is not necessarily bad. It's just, you know, the parts about Frontiers that I like the most, I love. So it's like this game, when it does something good, it does it really good. So after playing the game, I really enjoyed it, and I think that's really the best way to just say everything. It's just a good game through and through. I had fun, and it had something to deliver for a Sonic fan like me, a longtime Sonic fan.
Perfect. Chaomix, what about you? Oh, what did you going
Gotta
into
go back
it?
and talk about like the pre-release a little bit, because it was a little rough at the beginning, and like I think a lot of people were skeptical, and like I wanted to be excited so bad, but like just like given the past few games and like the first few trailers, I was like skeptical, but I was still trying to go in with an open mind. And like the more trailers and gameplay that they released, just like the more I was able to just like feel excited for it. So like right before the game came out, like I was pretty hyped. So
Yeah,
like
of course.
I went in, and I think I will say it took me a little bit to kind of like, the game had to kind of grow on me a little bit, but it didn't take too long. I think once I got into the main open world gameplay loop, that's when it kind of clicked with me, and I really enjoyed it. Like it was a really good game, and like just generally speaking, like I think a lot of the negatives are just things that can be like fixed in a sequel. I don't think anything is too like egregious. It's not like some other Sonic games where, you know, like some of the negatives are almost like a deal breaker, like it's super buggy, like nothing like that. I think I think it's a very well put together game. And like any of the flaws, like I think a lot of the positives too, like it shows that like they're listening to us. So like all these like negatives, like we should kind of talk about and like see if it's something they could fix next time. But yeah, like it was great. I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Good. That's great. No, yeah, no. I mean, I'm the same. I mean, I think going into it, I was probably the most like over the top, like excited for it. And I think it's just because, you know, obviously it's just I'm more lenient with stuff, but I also just think like for me, I just felt like there was always a vision whenever something was shown for the game or revealed about it. It always felt like to me they were doing something. Like even when the first IGN gameplay happened, I was like, okay, this looks like an older build, but whatever this is looks awesome. Like grind railing through an open field looks awesome, and the combat here looks dope. It's just the way it was presented was flawed. But and then everything after that just felt like good news after good news after good news. You know, you had like. Yeah, it was wild. And I don't even like it was. I remember it was like a few days after IGN, this random 6-minute gameplay video popped up of the game, and it was like in 1080 60, and it was a better build. And that was actually close to the one we got at launch, even. And then you had, you know, people analyzing the off camera footage. That was hysterical. That's some of the most fun I've had online.
That was a funny moment when, when it was like clearly it was footage of Green. That was a moment where it was like footage of Green Hill, Sky Sanctuary, and people were like, that's not Green Hill. That's not Sky Sanctuary.
I remember that.
That's Green Hill and Sky Sanctuary.
That is good. Yeah, no, it was hysterical because we were just like all over analyzing, but it ended up being a cool marketing beat in itself because people were actually getting excited from the little things being discovered.
Yeah.
You know,
it's on a lot of conversation.
Exactly. You know, and then you had that
like,
and
people were talking about frontiers every single day. Like it was a new thing every day.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a point where it just felt like we were constantly getting stuff where there was like key art, trailers, reveals, interviews. So going into launch, you know, I got the game. It's funny because like I got the game, I'd say like 2 weeks before launch. But obviously, you know, I didn't want to play it through. I was like, I'm a streamer. I gotta resist. But like, I had felt so happy playing in Island 1 and 2. Like, it felt amazing. And I think, like now that I've beaten it and I've talked about it a bunch, I really do love this game. I genuinely think, despite, I think it's what you guys said, where like the game definitely has flaws, but they're all like little flaws. It's not like this is the gimmick of it that sucks that you have to go through.
It's consistent.
Exactly.
I think that's the big difference with this game compared to a lot of the other games that would hold Sonic back. It's like they would have that one thing, right? They would have that gimmick.
Exactly.
Back, but it's not like trying to mix oil and water this time. Like this is a very consistent title through and through, and I think that's the major difference when it comes to this title versus like
it's
say,
so funny.
Unleashed or something.
It's so funny because like the gimmick in this game is just like the old play style. Like I was saying this in my review. It's like if you took the entirety of Sonic Forces and you were like, okay, this is like the mini game for this like even bigger game. Like we've come a long way, I think.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, no, you can definitely tell why it took 5 years for this for them. I think they really went to a drawing board where they were thinking, what do we genuinely need to change and make better? And playing it, it's like the highs in this game to me are like some of the peak this series has ever had, and the lows to me are nowhere near any low like some of the series has had. Like they're like, oh, this sucks, this is annoying, this is annoying, but like through and through, I just had an amazing time and it felt different. And even upon replaying it, I'm like appreciating stuff more and loving stuff more. And obviously, you know, mods are a big part of Sonic. I'm already enjoying that aspect. So yeah, opening thoughts there. Really, really love the game. So obviously, I mean, let's start with also what the big, you know, hook of this game was, which is changing the formula from, you know, stages to the open zone. We were kind of baited, right? You know, they said 5 open zones. I guess it's what, like 3 and 3.7 like,
even. I'd say almost 4. I'd give the last island of like
I'd give
full title.
Yeah, the last island I would give it. I'd say like 4 and a quarter.
Yeah,
I'd say 3, like 3 and 3.2. You know, like that, like Final Fantasy 10 and 10.2. This would be like Chronos 1-2, and then Island 2 and 3. Because Uranus is a full island. Like you can spend 3-4 hours in there 100%. It took me a while to. But it was like the same aesthetic, really. But open zone in general. Like obviously we're gonna get into like what we think of them. So what do you think about like open zone, like the idea of it, the environments of it? Like what did you like about navigating puzzles, all that? Let's go Chaomix, you go first.
I really liked it, actually. I think like some of my favorite like memories of playing Sonic were just like kind of roaming around in the adventure stages, like the hub worlds in Adventure 1,
Of course.
and even like Unleashed. It's just like really fun to kind of just like be able to free roam and just kind of like utilize Sonic's movement like on your own time without any pressure of like, you know, like getting to the end really fast, stuff like that. I do think that like one of the things I really wanted to see was like level design built for like like momentum or like, you know, physics and stuff, like loop-de-loops and stuff like that. Like I think maybe the next game they can try to kind of stray away from the automation a little bit, even though it is fun. I do really like the kind of like, it's almost like a rhythm game where you're kind of being controlled automatically, but you're like timing jumps and like air dashes and stuff. It's kind of like a rhythm game, and it like is a very nice flow state to it, but also like more manual control would be cool too. So like that's kind of what I hope to see like in the next game.
We're like we're almost at the Sonic CD intro, you know. We're almost.
I know.
Almost.
That's like my dream.
That's the bar.
Just, like,
Yeah,
being
that's
able
what I
to
wanna
play
be.
the Sonic CD intro in 3D. Like that is like gonna be peak Sonic, and that's
Once
what
you
like
get there.
what hopefully we're striving to get to.
Yeah. Because they have hints of that, like when they have like because like the wall running thing is like, you know, something you see like a hint of like 2-3 times, but you never see it really anywhere
I
else.
definitely got like glimpses of that vision when I was playing. There's like I think it's in the last island. There's like this kind of like arch. It's like
upside down.
Xenoblade where they have those like
Yes.
weird arches, and like underneath it kind of creates like this oval, and you could like run around it. You could like run on the ceiling, I think. And like places like that, it's kind of like they specifically curated it, like they designed it specifically so you could do that. Like I don't think you'd be able to just do that naturally with like any loop.
No, exactly.
But like hopefully we can get to the point where like you can just like naturally do that with the game's physics. Like that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fire. What about you, Sam?
Yeah.
Open zones. How you feeling?
Yeah, I love the open zone format. In the past games has been, you know, the fact that we've been kind of stuck on linear hallways for like 15 years.
Yeah.
The reactionary gameplay style that was introduced in Unleashed, I think, was fun for the time because it was like Rush. It's like Sonic Rush in 3D. It's that reactionary time, and I think like what Chaomix says, there's probably a place for that. Like it is fun. It doesn't have to be cut out altogether, but having that be the meat of the game was never, I feel like, the answer.
Okay.
So I love the open zone format. The open zone format is exactly what I wanted. I wanted full
me
3D
too.
control of Sonic at all times. And yeah, I think to go into that, the thing that I like about the open zones is how they're all different. I like how Kronos is more open. I like how Ares is even more open, but has more rails and, you know, more terrain to have to like cross over to get to the other side. And then I do like how Chaos is more hard to traverse, even though the 2D is like right.
Yeah.
And yeah, Uranus is kind of Island 1 again.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like how they're all different and varied in that regard. But yeah, I do think when it comes to level design, I do think that is like where I feel like the full potential of Sonic is not quite met yet. It's almost there.
Yeah, almost there.
And I think that's because, you know, his gameplay style is not designed with momentum in mind. It's not designed with it. But so they designed the world without that in mind, and I think because of that, because they designed it without momentum in mind or anything like that, they did a good job for what they did here. But yes, I think the goal in the future, like you guys mentioned, like that Sonic CD intro, being able to roll around a tree and shoot off, or like you know, you shoot off into the sky and all that stuff. And we've already seen mods day one that does that. So I think when it comes to the open zone format, I really like it. But when it comes to the potential of Sonic, I want to see more loops, corkscrews. I want to see that Sonic terrain I know and love. Doesn't have to look like Green Hill, but I like to see those hills and you know, something that Sonic can play on as like a huge Sonic playground. I want to see a Sonic playground where there's a fast travel in the game, but I don't want to fast travel. I want to be able. I want to see like my waypoint way over there, and I want to run and go over there.
You know, it's fun. Now on my like 4th playthrough of the game, or like on my PC playthrough with mods, I've actually like turned off the HUD, and I just set like the waymarks like when I press the map, and that's felt really cool. you know,
Yeah.
because like the HUD is all clean and you just feel like it's like, how do I naturally traverse from here to there, you know? And I found that's a really cool thing. But you know, I think, I agree with you guys. Like open zone to me is the wave. I love it. I love the idea of massive Sonic playground. I've always wanted that. I do. Yeah. It's kind of like how you said, Chaomix, where it's like, it's very like automated and your button prompts are what are like your little activity when you're on the grind rails and stuff. But yeah, I do want more. So like now thinking about it, yeah, it's weird that there isn't a loop in the open zone, you know, like that's kind of crazy to think about. But you get glimpses of like almost Sonic like levels. Like in Ares Island, there's that one segmented part on the side where you are like doing a platforming challenge where you can choose like the upward platforms to run on the bottom ones, you know? And those felt like the most Sonic like to me in an open zone. I thought those are really cool. And yeah, and Kronos Island, you know, very open, big playground. There's some areas in the sky. Chaos Island, like you said, I found that was the most. It's funny because in Chaos Island, I love the idea of it, but it almost restricts you a bit because like one, the places are segmented, and two, like 2D, like having 2D segments in 3D is weird. I don't think I like that at all.
If
they would
do
trap
need
you
to-
sometimes.
Yeah, if they have them in there, there needs to be a clear indication. I feel like in
Yes.
this game they trick you. They'll have like a random dash pad, and the worst part is actually when you side loop like a thing and it turns into a dash pad, you just get shot off into a spline somewhere. It's like,
know.
why are you tricking me?
Yes,
It's like you
no.
know I don't like these.
No, I know. No, because yeah, you've been mentally trained the whole time to like, oh, side loop a chest and you get like the tokens, and then on
I
this
fall for it
island
every
suddenly,
time.
And they're
I
still
know.
chests. They're chests.
I know,
and
yeah.
It's like, what?
Like, no,
But
give me a
Yeah,
different
maybe if it was a
marker.
different icon or something. Because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'll do it and like it'll pop up like a spring or a dash pad or something. And then I'll be like, oh, okay, wait, never mind. This isn't like a treasure
Yeah.
chest. And then I'll like go
Yeah.
explore and I'll come back and be like, oh, a treasure chest. And it's
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
same thing. I fall for it every single time.
Every time, yeah.
Now
I
real
just see
quick,
like, ooh, shiny. And I like side it.
Yeah.
Now, regarding the open zone format in this game, because we're talking about the islands really right now. There, you know, so I've had this theory for a while, and I do want to talk about that real quick. I had this theory for a while, like, oh man, and it's not a far-fetched theory, but I was like, man, it looks like Island 1, 4, and 5 were supposed to be one big island. Like you could tell, like it's like they're all. It looks like they were all supposed to be one big island, and I was streaming last night, and someone linked me a video.
Okay.
So when people were able to take the switch files from the game,
Okay.
they were able to see that all those three islands were all labeled Island 1 in the
Yeah.
files.
Right.
I saw that.
And they were able to. There's a whole model of the island together as one, and they were
Oh.
showing me a video
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
all linked up together, and it looked so. In fact, I mean, when you look at the trailer
You
for
get the
Pangea.
hint of it. Don't you get
yeah,
the
well-
hint of it? When you,
Yeah,
when you
and-
100% Island 1, it like unlocks the second half that you see.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yes, and what's interesting though is when I was playing the game and I went through Island 4, you know, Island 4 is like completely
Right.
for you.
Yeah.
A lot of those moments, a lot of the moments I think we want, or a lot of the more moments we want, like wall running being utilized, and
Yeah.
Island 4 actually has a lot of that, but it's unused. If
Yeah.
you go away from the tower, it's actually in the game. They just something
Right.
happened during development where like they
Yeah, I
had to
know.
throw it out. But it's so cool though because
Yeah.
the trailer for the game, if you look at the first trailer for the game when they're showing the open world and Sonic
Yeah.
is doing his Breath of the Wild moment and he's looking
Yeah,
out
yeah.
over the ledge, you could see the pyramid on top of the waterfall. That's in Island
the
5
same
and
island.
Island 1.
Wow.
It's a-
Okay.
And
Right.
yeah, so like when I saw the gameplay last night, they were all supposed to be one at one point. So
Right.
clearly something happened in the last year of development where they like had
Yeah.
to cut it off real quick.
There-
Probably for the sake of the Switch. I don't know.
No, I
maybe.
think in general it felt like the end of this game, like they were running out of money.
Yeah, that's
I
what
felt
it
that
is.
too. I made
Yeah.
that same exact comment. I was watching my roommate like actually platinum this game on
Right.
PS5 yesterday, and he like waited to finish the game until he got like until he only needed like the last trophy for like finishing the game.
Right.
And like yeah, like I made that same comment. Like at the end, it kind of seems like certain things were cut from earlier on in the game and like placed at the end.
Yeah.
And like we'll probably talk about this later, but like the
Of
final
course,
boss
yeah.
seemed a little bit strange. Like
Yeah.
we'll talk about that
Definitely.
later.
Yeah, of
probably,
course.
but-
Yeah. But yeah,
yeah,
no, you
but-
could definitely tell for sure.
But
Yeah.
in the end, just real quick.
Yeah,
just
go,
to cut
continue.
off, in the end, like I do like the team doing something very ambitious, and you can tell like these are big worlds. Like if the fact that Island 1, 4, and 5 were supposed to be one big gigantic island, that was going to be bigger than Ares.
Yeah,
like that. I like seeing the team doing something ambitious with these open worlds or open zones. And it makes me excited for the next game because like they have this vision of doing these big open zone formats. So open zone's the way to go, and it's something I'm genuinely excited for.
Yeah.
I think something I really loved about them. Yeah, no, I hope not either. I mean, a big thing I loved about the island is it respected that you were Sonic and you were going fast. Because even like the little challenge, because the game is filled with these puzzles, right? Even all of them were short, right? It would feel like you'd be running somewhere, you saw one in your eyesight, you would just go do it because you're like, I'm just gonna run there. I'm gonna do it really quickly and then continue on my path. I always think a sign of a good open world is one where like what's around you like draws your attention. And whenever I saw like a thing I could do, like the little red marker, I always wanted to do it. There was never once I saw and I was like, I'm not gonna do that one.
I played through the game
they're all
like
quick and
yeah, go ahead.
Go.
Oh, yeah, they're all like really quick, and I just got like big Breath of the Wild vibes where like I just wanted to like do everything. I was so like scattered, but like in the best possible way, where it's like, oh, I want to do this, or, like, oh, but there's this thing on the way, I'm gonna do this really quickly, and like before you know it, like you completely forget what your main objective is, and you're just like kind of doing things and having fun.
No, I've played through this game 4 times or 5 times actually after my stream, and when I start a new island, I can't stop. I have to complete the island.
Yes, I get it.
It's like that's how I am, and it's
I get it.
I don't really, I don't have a problem playing these mini puzzles. Obviously, like I do think like they could have done some that are more speed based, maybe more race type stuff. Yeah. Obviously, there's room for improvement. But yeah, nothing ever felt like, oh, I gotta do this again.
Puzzle,
it's like, ones that the only thing that I can think of that takes too long is a Guardian, which is the shark. But like, you don't have to play that.
Yeah, exactly.
You can skip those.
Yeah, shark is cool the first 2 times. I don't want to do this.
And it lasts like 2 minutes.
No, it's but no, I think they did a good job. With the opens of having good variety of areas. And I loved walking through them. And again, there's no open world like it, so it just felt refreshing. There's no open world where you can run around that fast and you're going on springs in the sky. And one thing I really love about open worlds are ones where you can sort of like, break it in a way. And this game, like, there's so many ways you can get to spots you want to by messing with the environment,
Right.
There's so many times I didn't know how to get to a spot in areas, but I was just like, what if I just use the boost on this grind rail, go up here, do a little drop dash on top of this rock, and you make it, and that's satisfying. In Chaos Island you could do that a lot actually. There's like one ice mountain in Chaos Island where you could just spam.
It's the one little area I've wanted snow, and they're like, quickly, let's put one little
one ice block in the corner here.
Make it so you can't walk on it.
Yes,
you just have to like keep drop dashing.
Yeah. I made it inside the volcano, and there is indeed lava, and I died.
Nice.
I made it right inside of it because of that trick you do where you like dodge, you do the cancel of the drop attack, and you like boost upwards in the sky. But I agree with you. Like I think open zone in general is the wave, and I just think they handled it well. So we got open zone there. Now obviously we got to talk about a big part of open zone, which is the introduction of combat in Sonic. Second or third. Obviously we had like stuff like Sonic, the fighters, but I would say Unleash is really the only time we had it in a mainline game.
Right.
And we finally have it here as regular Sonic. And I gotta say, man, like I described it in my like preview video before I had played the full game, where I said like it was Flash over Substance, but the Flash felt good. And the thing I really my favorite combat segments were the ones where like you had to like, because you get if you get good at the combat, it becomes really easy to like drain their health, and it becomes about like just being flashy. So I like that there was always like a puzzle to fight the boss, like I liked that with Strider you had to do the grind rail challenge before hitting him. I like Spider was awesome, where you like go do the sky mini game,
ricochet off it's like the wrestling thing, bounce off of them. That was awesome.
Tank, he's fire too. And it's like I like even like with Squid or the one in Chaos, like I just like the idea that like before you just beat the shit out of this boss because it's just gonna be easy, here's like a fun activity you do right before that to earn beating the shit out of it, you know?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Yeah, go Sam.
Yeah, I think the combat was pretty good for its first attempt. It could have very easily been a situation where it's like, oh, this is the gimmick of the game, but they actually pulled it off. They pulled it off. I like the feeling of like, you know, hitting an enemy, dodging real quick, doing that zigzag motion, doing the quick side loop, and then like doing the stomp. Like being able to chain a combo off another feels so satisfying.
It does.
I wish the game incentivized you to do it more. In fact, I think one of my favorite enemy in the game is Ninja.
Right.
Especially
Yes, I agree.
type when, in the future island.
The later one.
Yeah, I like when you have to stop your combo
Fight.
to dodge
Yes.
or to side loop or to run around it. I like it interrupting me. I don't like because there is a lot of enemies in the game where you can kind of just keep punching and it'll
Yes.
die.
Yeah.
But I do like the ninja. I like the tower. I like sumo. Like I think that stuff is cool where you can't just do one attack. You got to change it up. And I think that's where again the room for improvement comes from. Like they could add so many more moves in the Sonic series when it comes to like Smash or like
of course.
Sonic Battle and stuff like that. Or even Sonic Heroes. Like it takes
Even
up
the
like the
movie,
tornado
you know?
move, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot they could take up for the future combat. And yeah, I liked the combat in this game. It was a good taste of what's to come, I feel like.
Right,
And I'm excited for like what they'll come up with. Because they seem like they really want to do flashy stuff, and flashy is good. Flashy is good. That's
Always,
that's what makes people hype, and when it looks good, it feels good. You know what I mean?
As long as it looks good,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you think of like I don't know if you guys play the Naruto Storm games in general,
Yeah.
where like those games are very button mashy, but they're flashy. And it's the flashiness and the cool look of stuff that makes
you feel powerful.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you feel powerful, that's a good sign. What did you think, Chaomix? What did you think of the combat?
I really liked it. I'm like a big fan of like Devil May Cry, Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, good. Yeah.
And like, sure, it's not as intricate as those games, but like, it's almost as flashy sometimes.
Yes.
And like, it was just really fun, like just fighting enemies. I think like. Usually, I'm not like the biggest fan of combat in Sonic games, but I think because of the open world, it kind of worked.
Yeah.
Because like you're not really in a rush to like finish a level. Like you're kind of just like in the mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna do a quick puzzle, kind of just explore around. And like doing combat is kind of like part of that, and it didn't feel like so. It wasn't like such a weird thing, I guess, like in Sonic Unleashed.
Right.
And like I think a big part of that is because like you're still always Sonic, like you're always fast.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can get in and out of combat really quickly. So that was really cool. I wish that like the skill tree was either more expansive and there were more moves,
I agree.
or like the pacing of it maybe was a bit stricter because like I feel like I unlocked everything pretty early on, and like by the end of the game I had like 100 skill points, 199 plus skill points or whatever. And like there's nothing to spend it on. I'm like, man, like I got all these skill points, like I feel like I know spend it on something. What else?
Even I was gonna say like with you of like it's like and I hope like they definitely should have it, because it feels good in a game when like you see a skill tree gain skills out of nowhere. So I would have loved like maybe like 2 or 3 cool extra moves.
I think double-edged sword, right? Because like I feel like they knew the game is more fun when you have your abilities. So they're giving it to you fast, but I feel like they needed to have that supplement stuff, because like I play stuff like Ratchet and Clank too, and like those like we'll have a skill tree for an entire weapon, and there's like 15
exactly
of them. And it feels so good to level those up over time. So like I think it just comes down to them just needing more moves, need to come up with more ideas for moves for Sonic the Hedgehog, and there's plenty they could do.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For sure.
I do think that like also like maybe the moves should do more unique things. Like I think they look cool, but they're all just like a different way to do damage. And it's not even that like they're like much stronger. It's just like variety.
They have like a secondary effect. Like, I like that idea.
There should be more like puzzles oriented around using a specific move. Instead of like pretty much like most enemies, like the puzzle is like to side loop it usually. But it's like, what if there was an enemy where like you had to do like I forget what it's called, but like the key blasts that are like
Oh,
shaped like
yeah, the
X's,
cross slash,
like,
cross
only
slash,
that move
yeah,
could
yeah.
like beat them
Yes.
or something.
Yeah,
Or like I think they just need like more properties because like
I agree.
as
They all-
flashy as the moves are, like you would kind of just find the one move that like worked really well, and you would kind of resort to just using that one, unless you just wanted to
solid.
look cool and just like mix it up, which is what I tried to do.
Yeah, I
And
tried
it
my
felt
best
a little
to-
bit artificial because like I was just doing that because I wanted it to look cooler.
Yeah, no,
Not because it
exactly.
actually like did more damage or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
like,
like-
yeah, go. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say like because I know like all the moves in this game they all do the same thing. They all cause damage.
Pretty
to the
much.
enemy.
Yes.
But,
Yeah.
like I like the idea of like them having different secondary effects, like different type of stuns.
Right.
Like different lasting effects on the enemies. They have to take each down. Like
Yeah.
I kind of mentioned it before, but I like it to be kind of like rock paper scissors, right? When you have an enemy, you have
Right.
Right.
to do it this way.
A little bit like Sonic Heroes, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit,
like
yeah.
honestly, yeah.
For sure. No, I can definitely see that. But I really like the comment. Obviously, one thing I really like that is part of the combat is even like what's called. I like that in Supersonic 2 you keep that combat,
Yes.
right? And
Dude,
uh-huh.
I made
is-
a video
Mhm.
and like it totally like didn't influence anything, but it feels like it
Okay.
did. I made a
Uh-huh.
video about like how I thought Supersonic boss battles were like actually kind of lame when you look at purely the gameplay.
Right,
It's,
yeah, yeah.
it's usually you just like dashing forward, dodging things, and like attacking the weak point.
Right.
And like I was in that video, I said like, man, for Supersonic to be like good, like you should take everything that base form Sonic can do and just add on top of it, because that's
Yeah.
why like when you're able to play as Supersonic in the levels, like you feel powerful because like it is just Sonic but better.
But
when
better,
you-
yeah.
But when you like have a Supersonic final boss battle where it controls kind of differently, like you're so much more limited, and like narratively it's really cool, and like story wise and like music, it's all really cool, but like in terms of gameplay it's a little bit underwhelming because like Sonic is like just more fun to play, like based from
Yes.
Sonic.
Yeah.
So like that's what my video was about, and like I feel like this game like answered all
Directly
those
answered
questions
it.
almost. Like they basically
Yeah.
just took Sonic and like made him better. Like he keeps all his moves, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And,
just
um,
elevates them and animes them
I think-
basically.
Yeah, like I think the fact that they reuse Supersonic throughout the game and not just one time, they were like, okay, if we're gonna reuse this, like it's gonna be shown off like a bunch of times. Like we can take time and develop like a move set for him, because you're
Yeah.
not gonna just use him one time for 5 minutes and that's it. Like
Exactly.
we might as well make it worth it because he's the player's gonna be like seeing Supersonic throughout the game.
Yeah.
So I think that was like that alone, like the fact that you're just like going Supersonic throughout the game is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, we
And-
should talk about it then, like just the Titans. I mean, if
Yeah.
we're talking about Super Sonic, like,
Yeah.
man, I really give them props, man, for not like.
Yes.
I don't even know how they resisted not showing that, because I feel like that alone could have made so many people's heads turn to buy the game.
Yeah.
Right.
I am so happy they didn't though, because
Show it.
doing that I like doing that first time. I've never yelled that loud like playing a Sonic
I
game.
know.
Too.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I wish that was a moment where I was like, oh, I regret, not
Yeah,
not
I know.
being on camera for this, but like obviously I couldn't because of what I was doing. But that I will always remember that first interaction
Forever,
with
yeah.
Giganto. I remember explicitly what I yelled. I was like, when the music kicked in and I just started wailing on him, and I literally stood up out of my chair and I just screamed, "This is a Sonic game!"
Yes,
I remember,
I know
always
that.
remember that. I just yelled, "This is a Sonic game," and I was going off. I was scream laughing.
Yeah. No, I'll never forget it too, because when I got it, I couldn't resist like not telling anyone. So I told my two very close friends. I called them on Discord. I was like, I'm just gonna show you guys me playing. We were just fanboying over the first time,
Yeah.
but when I got to Giganto, like everyone, all of us in the call just yelling like, holy fucking shit, this is the rawest thing ever. And it was just,
Oh my
it's
God.
incredible. They like, especially the song, like it's the like we haven't had like metal in Sonic since maybe like Shadow the Hedgehog.
So good.
You know,
Right,
and even
yeah.
then it's like
Yeah.
different in that game. Here it was so wild, and then like you get obviously the second half of it, and then you get the vocals that double down and kick it. It was surreal. What about you? What was your reaction when you first did it, Chaomix?
Dude, I freaked out, man. Like it was so cool, because like that first song for the first Titan fight,
Yeah,
it's like
undefeatable.
paced perfectly.
Yes.
Where like you go, I think it starts like right when you turn supersonic during the cutscene, and then you're dropped into the gameplay, and it gives you the tutorial, and you kind of like read it really quickly, and like by the time you like press the X button to get into the battle, that's where it's like
my God.
go, and then like the
Dun,
drums
dun,
start
dun,
kicking
yeah,
in.
yeah.
It was perfectly timed. Like,
Insane.
has anyone played Metal Gear Rising?
Yes,
Revengeance?
yes, it
I
was.
have not.
Yes, it's that.
very
right?
it's very similar to like how they do the dynamic music in that game.
Yes, 100%.
Where like the different phases like will phase in the different
Phase in
parts of the
different-
song, and it
yeah.
like it's more intense. It's so good.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, I got like huge Metal Gear Rising
Yeah.
vibes, and like
Yeah,
that's
I love
like
when they do
all
that.
I've ever wanted in a
Mhm.
I
Sonic
love that they
game.
do that because yeah,
So-
they like hold off the second part of the song.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
until the
that
halfway.
part where the
Yeah.
Titan, like does their pinch
It's really
mode.
smartly looped.
It's
yeah,
awesome.
it's
And I
no,
think-
it's surreal. Yeah, go.
I was gonna say when I was playing Giganto, and I think the other part that made me freak out was the fact that I was like playing it for like 3 minutes, and then I look up at the health bar, and I saw it was like, boop. I was like, what the hell
Right,
is this?
yeah.
Actual final
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
boss? Like, what is this? Yeah, and
Well,
that's what I
I-
like.
I didn't
They're
know
all
that.
treated as a final
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
go
they're
ahead.
all treated like a final boss. And I was gonna say, like, I remember the first time I was like shocked. I was like, this is fucking hard. Like, cause I went in with like a certain amount. I think I only went in like 150 rings or something.
Yeah.
And I was on hard mode, so I was like, oh, geez, this is like really hard. Like, obviously, when you don't, because well, my biggest issue at first was I didn't know until the game came out and people told me that you could hold to parry. So I always
Yeah.
thought you had the
Yeah, I didn't know
perfect
that.
It took me a bit
parry.
to figure that out.
Yeah. So I just kept getting knocked by him, and I was like, "This is almost like you're ruining this right. I'm trying to be hype here." But yeah, no. So that was a bit annoying for the first time, but like once you get that and stuff, it's incredible. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Sam?
No, it was just that like I like how they're all treated as like a final boss.
Yes,
Like because
yeah.
of Supersonic, so they're all treated as like a huge climax. But I
Yeah.
will say back, you made me think about this real quick. I do think that's another part they do need to improve on is the parry. I don't like that you could hold it.
Yeah, I agree.
It should be timing based.
I like it being time based.
There's
Yes.
some puzzles like later on where they like shoot the energy balls at you and you're
Yeah.
supposed to parry them, and they're like really
just
fast, but it like doesn't matter
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you just hold it down. It
I-
almost I feel like
yeah.
they were designed to be timing based.
Yes,
But
they
were like, oh, this
definitely
is
were.
too hard, and then they just made it so you just hold it down. Like, and then on the last island, there's like those like dog robots that spiral around
Yes,
you and they
yeah,
all
yeah.
shoot
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And like you have to, it's almost like you have to time it, but like there's no timing involved. So
Yeah.
you just kind of like hold it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like
And that was my-
it's too
yeah.
easy.
That's just like before the game came out, people told me like especially on Ares Island, when I got to that game where it's shooting the balls, I was tapping it right when they hit me, and I couldn't figure out. I was like, "Is this broken?" But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it should be just a window, you know, like most like
Yeah.
don't make it like Street Fighter where I have to like hold it frame one, but like make it a
Yeah.
window,
Right.
you know, give me because there's already mods that have made it a window, you know, where it's like a
Yeah.
shorter.
Oh, I should check that
and
out.
Yeah, there's a good mod for
I
that.
feel
where,
like the
it just
fights would
makes
be a
it
lot
like
more like engaging
Engage-
because then I
especially
have to
Titan
actually like
2.
time when I dodge and everything.
Titan 2, when the first time I played it, when I didn't know you could hold the parry,
the
that's
missiles.
when it was like
I didn't even
more
know you could pair the
engaging, but
missiles
now,
till later.
But now, because I know you could just hold it, I'll be
Mm-hmm.
honest, Titan 2 is kind of as cool and flashy as it is. It's kind of like
You just hold the parry button and wait for a missile
you
to
just
show up.
that entire fight you just hold parry until
Right.
it's open. So
Man.
it's like, yeah, it's like so that's another room for improvement. Is like
Mm.
don't maybe holding the parry should have been like easy mode only.
Yes,
for-
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I was thinking too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think like overall, I wish the game was a little bit harder.
Mhm.
yeah,
As much as I was kind of hesitant of the idea of combat in a Sonic game, by the end I was almost wishing that like
There's
there
more
were
of
certain
it.
enemies that like were more like damage sponges.
Yes, I
where
agree.
can
No,
just like
I
wail on them
100%
and
agree.
like dodge and like do more
Yes,
combos. Because I'd like get
yes.
to it, I'd like try to build up my Phantom Rush and like by the time it's like built up, it's already dead and I can't
Yeah.
like use it.
yeah.
I
And I'm just
know.
trying to like it's fun being in the heat of combat and
Mm-hmm.
like dodging stuff and like by the time you kind of get into it, it's over.
Yeah,
so.
that's why I wanted a new game plus so bad. I was like, this should have
Yeah.
been the game to have a new game plus where you keep your skills, but like, you know, you can do it on
Right.
hard and everything's harder. Like
Yeah.
that would have been really fire if
It-
they did something like that.
Did you guys look at the art book for this game?
Yes, where there's like, yeah, there's like gold
There was another.
variations of
There's
enemies.
one more variation.
Oh yeah, there's another tier
Mhm.
of enemies.
that was on
Golden.
top of this, but they're not in the game. So
I know.
It's like the ideas, it almost feels like if they had another 6 months or to a year,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of this would have been I feel like the main thing now, it's like maybe they just need more people
They
on
do, because 60
Sonic
people
team
made
is,
this
like,
game apparently.
Yeah,
surprisingly
was it
small.
60?
Yeah, I found that I found that 60 people that worked on this game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because Yakuza has over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, hopefully now that the game is, I assume
Yeah.
it's selling well. Like the Steam charts are.
I think so.
At an all-time
Yeah, I
high.
hope so. It sounds like it.
I hope Sega's like, okay, let's allocate more money, more revenue, and more people into, because
Plus, movie did super well this year too.
Right.
So
they're
like,
doing a good
just
job. It just sounds
Sonic
like
is like huge right now.
yeah, it
It's
just sounds
totally
like
worth
they're
it to like
limited
invest in a bigger team.
Yeah, it just sounds like they're limited on time and
Yeah.
maybe
they just need
resources.
people.
Resources,
Yeah.
yeah.
They need more
They need more
people
people. I
because they
mean-
have great ideas. And like on the topic of the Titans though, I do want to talk about like the progression of them, because the first boss was really hard and I liked that.
Right.
The second boss was also really hard because it was like a sneak attack type boss.
Yeah,
like,
the first time you don't really realize.
it's
Yeah.
like Harriet. Knight is freaking awesome.
Knight is
but that's when
raw.
I think that's when you realize like it feels like it's starting to get easier to kill them though, and then the final Titan,
Yeah.
like
that's like
what
the
it's like.
easiest one.
That's the easiest one, and I feel like it's not because they get easier. I feel like it's because they did not. I think they all have the same health bar, but they don't
Oh,
adjust
really? Okay.
the fact that you rank up over time.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
You do more
Okay.
damage. So I feel like I want to try this game without ranking up intentionally.
Right.
Because I want those Titan bosses
Well,
to
you
be
know what's
hard.
funny is I recently streamed. I was doing a stream. I'm doing a no stat run, but I have skills, and even then the Titans, like, they were a challenge, but they were never like, impossible. But I liked that. I liked that I was doing big damage to them. So it's definitely worth trying something like that. There's also, again, there's like mods that are like making them harder and stuff. So
Harder.
that'll be worth it.
Yeah.
I saw that.
For sure. So there's that, but yeah, no, I agree with you. It's like, for me it peaked at like Wyvern. For me, like Wyvern, I think had so many flashy moments. Between the fact that you're flying through, the song is my favorite in the game, like by far. That's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite Sonic songs ever. Like Do or Die. It's because like it starts insanely just like aggressive, and then it goes, it's on,
screamo.
yeah, yeah.
Right at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah,
I love
then-
when he just throws him against an entire mountain.
Oh my god,
It's
yes.
the craziest thing I've ever
Dude.
seen in Sonic.
You know what's
It's so
crazy is
awesome.
like, thank God for people making these saves through. Like, it's a crime you can't replay them, because I've
know.
replayed
I
these
know.
now, and
Yeah.
there's so many extra things you can do to these Titans that like you don't realize on your first time, because you're just sort of wailing. Like, you can. I even found this out today for Wyvern. Like, you can side loop like both arms and the head, and he's then completely locked.
Yeah.
And obviously, even the first time I played, I didn't do the mountain toss, but the second time I did it, and then even on like
How do you
Gigantic.
do the
you know,
mountain toss? I don't think I've done that.
so when you
think
parry him
I think
twice, it
Yeah, you
activates.
parry him twice. That it activates, and I also think it might activate when you do the quick side loop. I could be mistaken. Actually, no, the quick
It's,
side loop.
no, it's
holds
not
him by
quick side.
chains.
It holds him by chains.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
So if
Yeah,
you
I've
like,
done
if
that
you
one.
try to parry him twice, there should be a quick prompt that shows up, like triangle, circle, and it does it goes to an end, because every boss except the first one has. Well, no, only Titan 2 and 3 have it, where like they have, when you counter perfectly, you can do this move, because even Knight has that. I don't know if you got it, where like if you do that quick prompt, he like bashes his
like,
legs,
hits his
then he does like
leg,
an anime kick at him.
fall.
Yeah,
I
it's
think I've
it's
done
so
that
cool.
one.
It's so cool. I do want to mention real quick
Mm.
something I didn't learn on my first playthrough, but I learned on, I think my third, was
Okay.
I didn't realize you could side loop as Supersonic.
Me neither. No, thank God I had viewers when I was streaming,
Right?
where they were telling me like, by the way, side loop the boss fight. I was
It's
like,
so
oh,
cool.
okay.
Yeah, and
it's
yeah,
so
each,
cool.
each Titan has a unique effect,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of like what I want in like the open world to happen. Like when it has a unique effect on each, where the
Right.
first boss, if you side loop him, he gets thrown into the air.
Mm-hmm.
You can attack him. Wyvern, there's like, which is
He
so
gets
weird by the
chained.
way. There's like these golden chains, but it's like,
Yeah.
can Supersonic do that? Like he
You
just
just do
Hey,
it.
man,
Hey,
Supersonic
so
can do
whatever,
anything
that's
right
I'm
now.
fine with that. That's awesome. You
Yeah.
can do whatever you want.
And then the Knight, he just like he gets these spikes. So there's like these he gets like stabbed.
Yeah,
with
you.
these, like,
So yeah, when you side loop Knight twice, he like puts up these gold spears that like lunge down onto him, and it was like this. I was like, this is the rawest thing ever.
yeah, right. I don't know if I've tried the last one. Maybe it might be just the
Nothing.
same as like Giganto. He might just get thrown. into-
Right.
No, he doesn't. The last one doesn't. If you try, you just put I don't know what's bro. Like I said, the last one is. I think the last Titan is just not even great. Cause like he spams these things at you that are pushing you back. I didn't even realize you had to break the shields. I just walked into him and was hitting him.
That's the thing is I've tried that fight over and over. Like there has to be something here we're not seeing, and I think there is.
I know.
If you hurt him quite a lot, but you don't like attack him, just wait.
Right.
Those yellow things start to go crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they
yeah.
go crazy. I'm
Yes,
like,
yeah.
that should have been the start. That should have happened from the start, where it's like the battle is not fighting him. The battle is getting to him.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, like definitely the final one, it's definitely not finished.
Yeah, it's weird. It was, and it's also like obviously it's the final time, but it's like a double version of Giganto.
It's kind of a reskin a little bit.
Feels like a
Like
hard
he's
mode
got
Giganto.
some more accessories, but it's he's like the same base template. He's just kind of different colors.
Has a
and-
helmet
yeah.
and a jetpack.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
And a gun and a 1911.
Yeah.
Do you know that if you side loop Giganto and he's in the air and you side loop him again, you like
He goes tumbling
throw
down.
him down and he just like eats shit and he's like on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You didn't
It's
know?
really
What?
cool.
Yes. Yeah.
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 I want to turn it on and try it right now. Are
Dude,
you serious?
Yeah.
All of them. That's how I was trying to. All of them have a double side loop thing. So I was telling you, like,
Yeah.
you did it, Chaomix. Did you do the spear one for Knight?
For Giganto. I
Okay.
don't think I did the one for the third Titan. I need
Do
to fight
the Knight
third
one.
Titan more.
It's so
Yeah.
good because when you side loop him and you do it again, like literally Sonic shoves down like light spears down at him, and it's
Oh my
so
God.
raw.
I didn't realize
So
Sonic
cool.
because I saw when I did it, like he gets thrown into the air and like he's almost getting stabbed with light spears.
Right.
But I didn't know. I ever saw that Sonic did it. So
Yeah.
there's a whole moveset I didn't
know,
see yet.
but
I
that's
gotta
what I'm
do
saying,
that.
dude. That's what's
That's
so cool
awesome.
about the Titan fights. Is like there's a lot more to them when you do them again. Like again, even like the first time I played Wyvern, I didn't parry the missiles. You know, like it was like a technique I learned, and that makes that fight so much cooler because you parry, and then like he's damaged, you go up to him, and there's like even extra moves you can pick. Because sometimes like he'll be chained, but he'll try to hit you again. You could do it. Like it's really cool stuff. But yeah, no, I think for me, Titan 2 is peak. But I think like Knight ending it with the sword. I mean, there's nothing more
my
raw
God.
than that.
That
Are you
entire
kidding me?
time, I'm like, dude, if Sonic takes his sword and finishes him off, like, this is gonna be
Oh
the
my
peak
God.
boss fight
Yeah.
for me. Like, this is the best one. And then he freaking did it. I'm like, okay,
They won.
best game ever.
Yeah.
Dude, like
How-
that fight, like I actually like got emotional. Like it was
I know.
so cool. I like
It's
literally
so
almost teared up. Like it was so cool seeing like Sonic
Sonic is
just doing all these cool things. Like
I
it
know,
felt like
man.
I've been waiting,
Dude,
like
I
probably
know.
since like Unleashed was like the last time that like,
So cool, man.
like oh my god,
yeah.
it was so good.
This is the standard now. Like they
Absolutely.
can't not do this again. Like
Mhm.
COD team, I know I love you, but you just made your job so much harder because
I
you
know.
can't not start out
You cannot.
just doing this again. This is
Yeah.
the standard now. Like I love how they handled the bosses in this game, and I'd love going forward that being a staple of the series where Sonic's
I agree.
boss fights are so over the top that it like at the end of the day they're stupid, but I love seeing Sonic do the stupidest, craziest, most
I know.
insane, like,
I
take
know,
their
bro.
sword and kill them with it. It's so insane. I
raw.
It's
love
so
it
awesome.
though. I want
It's
them to
very
Yeah.
it's very like platinum games as
Yes,
like
yeah.
Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising, Nier Automata, like just like crazy over the top
man.
action, and like they need to look towards those types of games for inspiration. I think they
Yeah.
did with this game, and
definitely
like
did,
they
yeah.
need to keep doing it. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
Like that that style of action fits Sonic so well.
Yeah, no, I would have. I adored when in Wyvern fight when you do the QT and like he gathers up the missiles and he kicks it at him, and
Oh
the
my
way
God,
they
it was
do the
so cool.
dynamic cameras and stuff is
He opens
so
up the
good.
mouth.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
they all just like go straight.
my
into him
God,
and
yeah.
blows up. It's so cool.
It's insane, man. And even like even like the final one, like how you get tossed and stuff, that's like really dope. But like, yeah, no, I just think they did a good job of keeping it super cinematic and stuff. But
It's
yeah, so
very cinematic.
it's
I
awesome.
think that's like what a lot of the recent Sonic games have been missing. I think is just like cinematics.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
really just like cool action sequences with
Mhm.
like cool camera shots and like
Yeah.
hype music and everything. Like it's so important, and
Yeah.
I feel like they finally kind of figured it out with this game.
Well, even like they were doing cool stuff where what I liked when there was a set piece before the boss, you know, so like on Island 1 you do the thing where you get shot into the air, you're hitting the rocks and then you're punching Gigantic, but you
Yeah,
can't do
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
it tosses you. Island 2 when you're getting like attacked by Wyvern, it's like
You're
a runaway
getting chased,
section.
runaway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I love that they did like open even like dynamic stuff in the open zone. That's
They all
really
have
clever.
that except for the last world, because even Knight,
Oh yeah, you're right.
you're being chased by him, I think,
Yeah,
and
by
then
him in the
you
beginning.
ride on the squid,
Probably.
and he's
On
chasing you with
squid.
the razor blades.
Yes,
and you have
yeah.
to like dodge them. So that was cool, but I don't think the last world has anything. Like you don't
Yeah.
even see the final boss until you fight him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The final
Um,
boss doesn't pop out until you get the last emerald.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's wild, man. And it really,
And you
I
can
really
pass
do
them
think,
back to back.
yeah.
Like you get Emerald 6, and then Eggman is like,
Mhm.
okay, here's number 7.
Yeah,
Like you,
yeah,
you
no, I know.
don't because all the Titans, they have the emeralds on them, but for some
yes.
reason the last one doesn't. Eggman just gives it to you.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, that is true. He does just give it to you. It's
Yeah,
really
like
random.
all the
Some
other
just pop out
bosses,
of
you have
nowhere.
to like climb the boss, which is kind
Right.
of cool.
Yeah.
It like really shows you like the scale of the boss. 'cause
Right,
You have
yeah.
to climb it.
Mhm.
It reminded me of like Shadow of the Colossus.
Yes,
There's a
of
lot
course.
of stuff in this game that reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah. For
that's,
sure.
that's awesome. And then you're supersonic and could fly. And then it kind of just like
Uh-huh.
it emphasizes like the difference between like base form Sonic. He's like stuck on the
Yeah.
ground. He has to like look all the way up. There's this
Yeah,
giant
yeah,
Titan.
yeah.
And he has to like climb all the way up.
Mhm.
And then
I like
he
how
becomes
the game-
supersonic, and you're like eye level, and you're like,
Yeah.
let's fucking go,
So
dude. Let's
good,
Yeah,
fight.
I
dude.
like how the game literally tells you Sonic has no chance to beat this. You
Yeah.
need to be supersonic, get to the top of the Like,
Yeah.
I love that stuff, man. It's so good.
They're threatening, like the way that
Yeah.
Sonic just like gets his ass beat at the beginning.
I
Like
know,
I don't
yeah.
know what it is, but like seeing Sonic get his ass beat like just brings me joy.
It's wild.
Like,
Yeah, I
it
know.
kinda
I know. Of
humbles
course.
him,
Yeah.
But then
yeah.
it puts him in this position to where he has to like work to like
To get
get
there.
there
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
take on this enemy.
Absolutely. I
So
love
like,
that, man.
dude, in the first island, like when he just like gets grabbed and like thrown
yeah,
Dragon
yeah.
Ball Z
Through
style, like
pillars
just
and then
through,
the
like
rock.
a bunch of
So
mountains
good.
and rocks.
And then
like,
I look at
like a giant crater behind him when he hits the mountain. Oh my
I look
god,
at
it's
that
so
in
good.
comparison to when he got beat up in Sonic Forces.
Oh my god.
Like
It's like a bunch
night
of
and day.
schoolyard bullies.
Yeah, it's like it's
you're
night
one
and
nerd.
day.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, and yeah, it's like that seems believable. Like Sonic
Mhm.
getting thrown through across an entire island,
Yes.
thrown through 2 pillars, and then getting shoved into a
Yeah,
rock,
yeah.
and then falling and hit like.
And you like
How
hear
would-
it too, like the comic
no.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that stuff is awesome, and they did a good job with everything around that. Now, something that before we get into story and spoiler stuff, the last thing I want to talk about is a big part of the game that's been like not really, I mean, kind of divisive before launch. Now people are warming up to it. I think is cyberspace, right?
Yeah.
So we got 30 cyberspace levels. They are basically like it's almost like we still get boost formula in there, but it's become the special stage. It's become the arcadey
I like
thing.
the concept. I like the
Me
concept
too.
of what they're doing, because I think that's the biggest thing. It's like Sonic Forces gameplay or like the boost gameplay. It's like I said, like I don't want it to be the meat of the game. I want that to be the supplement.
Yes.
And them treating that as the supplement, I think is good. I think that's a
I
great
agree.
idea. I think that is where that reactionary gameplay should lie in Sonic, because it shouldn't have to disappear.
Yeah, I agree.
Having that be special stages is good. I'm just gonna go right into it. Yeah, I have warmed up to it, and I've learned like a lot of the 3D stages I like. Any of the 2D ones I don't like.
You don't want to
like-
do when you get to them,
The 2D ones though they feel too slow.
right?
I kind
Okay.
of liked a lot of the 2D stages
Oh
for
really?
whatever reason, and I think
I like
it's
them
just
too.
like the platforming
Mhm.
is really strong in those sections,
Mm.
and just like you have to like manage your double jump and air boost at the right time, and the fact that you can do it in any order, like you can jump, air boost, and then double jump, it was it was very satisfying. I felt.
How do you?
Some of my favorite levels were the 2D levels.
Was it even the 2D ones that were generations? Because I feel like for me, and I think it might be because I remember running through this stage so much faster.
Right.
Seeing him go slow, which I don't really get this in 3D for some reason, but in 2D, I feel like I really feel it. I feel like he's just like being pushed back.
I think what it is in the 2D segments, and I know what you mean. It's like he definitely feels a bit slow. I like the 2D stages too. I like, there's the one city one that's in 2D early on. That one's really cool. I like the grind rail one that they got. I think it's Apotos. I think it's like Act 2.
Yeah, from
that
Sonic
one's really
Unleashed.
fun.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. I like the 2D ones and they're like quick pace, and that's it. I kind of like that about the It's funny because in Force everyone was complaining that they were too short, but the problem with Force is that they were short, but they were automated. Yeah, like you just literally.
And that was the game. That was the whole game too.
Exactly.
Not the supplement. So like, they're a lot less easy to excuse. Where like this one, once you play the game and realize like how they fit in to the main game and the overall gameplay loop, then it's like, okay, like these really are just kind of the special stages. Like, there's an entire open world besides this. So like, if these levels are like a minute long, it's fine. Where like in Forces, you're like, dude, I just paid like $40 for this like whole game that like this level's a minute long.
I also feel like the part that makes me like the cyberspace stages is, and it's so weird, it's almost like we got to talk about 1-2 real quick. So you're first playing the game.
1-2, the marketing level. I call it the marketing level.
Yeah, you're playing the game, right? First one is it's baby. It's easy. It's like, all right.
Yes, yeah.
You get to the second one, and you're just like, all right, it's another one of these cyberspace stages. I'm gonna do it again. And then you see that ranking, and you're just like, what the? Okay, I'm gonna redo it real quick.
Yeah.
And then you do it the best you can, and the game continues to kick you in the balls. Like,
I know, dude.
You suck at this game.
I know.
And that is where you get addicted. In fact, I literally. I beat the game on stream, and for another 2 hours I was just playing 1-2. I was speedrunning it for 2 hours, and time just flew by because I did not. The game was pissing me off, and dude, I think that's. I know. In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like if even the 2D ones, if they were like really hard to beat, I might like them, but I don't feel a need to replay them because I S-ranked them on my first try.
Right. The hardest 2D one I found to S-rank quick was, I don't know if you guys remember. It's a 2D one, and the S-rank is like 1 minute 15 seconds. And it's like a really tight window to get to it. It's a Green Hill one. I don't know which layout it is, but it's in World 2, I think. But that one was like a really challenging one. But yeah, for the most part, you get those S ranks for all of them. But like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, to me, 1-2, like, yeah, obviously, like, I feel like they almost marketably ployed it. Like, they were like, this is one that's gonna annoy people, and that's gonna be like a marketing thing. Because like, I remember the first time I was playing with friends, and my friends were watching me. I was like, am I ass in this game, or like, is there something I'm missing? Yeah, and I literally thought that, oh, maybe I have to just upgrade my speed in the outside world, because I didn't know yet that my stats didn't affect it. Like, it was that shocking. And then I remember I talked to Sam about it, and he was like, yeah, take the lower paths actually. And now you have it at launch, and people are finding I mean, I feel like we have to address this, because like, this is like the elephant of the room for cyberspace going on. How do you guys feel about this homing cancel?
Okay, we gotta talk. Yeah,
because I feel like this is a big thing. That is this glitch, or is this like a thing? Yeah.
So we got it. So I got this question last night, and I got this question regarding rail launching, because that was we put that in speed.
In speed strats, yeah.
So I'll give you guys a quick behind the scenes. So for our job on speed strats, obviously we got the game, we're playing the game, and our goal is to find speedrun strats, strats that we know that not the casual player will know, but this is for the hardcore player. That's what this video series is for. It's for Sonic fans, longtime Sonic fans like you that want to know what little bits can I do to enhance my play experience. And rail launching was the first thing I actually discovered. I was like, okay, hey guys, for someone like me that wants momentum, I noticed his jump doesn't really carry inertia, but it does carry inertia on the
When you're on the
rails. And that's why
Right.
I actually love when a world has a lot of rails now because it's satisfying.
Right.
But also, the homing cancel, that was also something that was found by another team member. That was not mine.
Okay.
But the homing cancel is so cool.
It's
And,
so
and somebody,
cool.
sorry to go back to the question.
Yeah,
Somebody asked me last night, "Is the rail launch intentional?" And I'm just like, probably not, but it is embraced.
Right.
And that is what's cool. And I actually like that. It's almost the same. There's 3 things in this game that I don't think were intentional, but enhance the gameplay. Rail launching, homing cancel, and parrying. Because you can also use the parry as a cancel. If you interrupt your animation, you won't take damage. So you have to like do it quickly. The homing cancel, yes, I don't think it's intentional, but I do think it's embraced because they're seeing these speedruns now and they're addicting. I never really speedrun Sonic games. And last night I was doing two for 2 hours and I was just doing the homing cancel.
I know, dude. It's so
good.
Satisfying. Yeah,
so
because
cool.
it's the reason I think it's satisfying is because when it launches you really far, so you feel like you did something cool, but also at the same time, like, it's not that hard. Like, once you know how to do it, you're pretty much locked in, and that's part of your mental. And you can't always do it. Like, there's sometimes where if you do on a weird angle, you're gonna bump into the enemy. Like, but I found the reason I've been going back and speedrunning is because I'm seeing the spots where I can homing cancel or do a cool thing. You know.
Yeah.
What about you, Chaomix? How you been doing it? Have you been doing it? Like, do you find it's a weird thing? Like, what do you think?
I love it. It feels like. It reminds me of like weird, unintentional, like Smash Bros. Tech.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But like it's embraced by the community.
Yeah.
And kind of just becomes like a part of the gameplay. It's really cool. I think going back to like just 1-2, like I went and I played that level and like it kicked my ass. And like it took me like probably 15 minutes to like finally get the S rank.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my god, like that was really fun. Because the first level, I like literally the first thing I did as soon as like I started Sonic Frontiers is just like move around and be like, okay, like here's how the jump feels, here's the boost.
Right.
And I'm like, like it kind of like it feels a little bit like Sonic Forces, like
I know what you
your
mean.
steering is a little bit weird. Like I'm trying to like jump on these wooden crates and get the like the 20 ring thing, and it's like it's hard to steer it. But I played 1-2, and like that's where I saw the appeal. Is like okay, like
man.
But it's all about like boost management, like staying on the ground, like finding optimal paths, and I had a lot of fun with that. Yeah. And then like I would go to the other levels and I would like accidentally S rank them, like after like backtracking and like getting red rings, and then I'd be like, okay, let's finish the level, and I get like an S rank. I'm like, wait, what? How is 1-2 so hard? And like I'm accidentally getting S ranks on this one. So like those levels, I didn't really like replay because I like got all the objectives and I would just move on. And it wasn't really until like after I beat the game, like maybe 1.5 times, where I'm like, oh, let's try like arcade mode, because after you beat the game, you get arcade mode, which is just like all the cyberspace levels, and you can just select them. It's like a level select. So I just started kind of playing them for fun, and like if it weren't for like just the arbitrary like S-rank time limit, like if you kind of ignore that and just try to like PB, like personal best, like that's when it becomes really fun. And there's a mod that I found yesterday that like makes the timing stricter for the S ranks.
Really?
So I feel like if because for me, like there was no incentive other than I just wanted to like get better. Like if you want an incentive, like I would recommend checking out that mod, because you can do that during an actual gameplay, like
sick
playthrough.
That's good.
I do want to quickly give a shout out to the team. And the reason why is because like I mentioned, so it wasn't intentional, but it's definitely embraced. And when I first showed them, like for example, the rail launching, one of the first feedbacks we got was, wait, what is in the game? Like they're like, wait, what are you talking about? We don't have
like,
what is rail but I some of the officials when I showed them, they're like, no, wait, this is cool. And exactly like you said, Chaomix, it's like Smash Brothers, and they explained it in that way, and they allowed us to keep it in, and I think that
That's awesome.
just a shout out to them with how cool that is, because I feel like this is another part of Sonic that is kind of being unlocked.
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
way.
I agree.
Sonic's always been a speed run, a fun series to speed run, but now these universal movesets are being discovered by fans, like rail on homing cancel, air dash. Like these are really cool moves that I think it's just awesome to see Sega allowing us to embrace it.
Right.
They're not they're not like, we got to do a day one patch and fix this. It's
exactly.
like, no,
No,
like,
There's certain
glad.
companies that like they would find out about that and be like,
Yes,
patch it out, get
Yeah,
out of
yeah.
here.
like,
No, this has
seriously,
made it
huge
so fun.
shout
man.
out to, like, Sega and Sonic team for like
Mm-hmm.
allowing that. And,
Definitely.
you know, it's not like an exploit, not a bug. It's a cool. I think it's like a cool feature that should be embraced. And who knows? Maybe in the next game they'll be like, we'll put that in the moveset.
And it was
Yeah.
yeah.
To me,
no,
it's like it's very similar to Smash Bros. Like you'll have people like arguing if it's like intentional or not. It's like it doesn't matter. Like it's in the game, and it's like this cool thing you can do. Like use it if you want to.
Yeah.
Like it makes the game more fun.
It's crazy how like also like it was like, I remember when I like, because at first you discover it's cool, but then like from Twitter, like finding out that you can like change the direction when you do it. You know? So like in 2-2, like the tune-in one from Unleashed, right, with the spinning platforms, like there's the buzzy beetle at the end, and if you just like do the homing cancel, but like you go the other way, you just land in the at the end. Yeah,
the goal. Yeah, I saw that.
And also because like sometimes the level magnets you back. Like I was doing this in a clip earlier, where like I like jump, I did the homing cancel past like a you know, the springs, and like I went flying, but like because the level doesn't want me to like die, it like flings me towards like back, and I was like, this is so cool. Like I think this is stuff that is encouraging me, like again, someone who's not normally a speedrunner, to like enjoy speedrunning aspect of it. And I think it's a very smart strategic tool. But yeah, no, going back in general to Cyberspace, it's like I do think though, like we need to stop with the old layout stuff, you know? Like I feel like either that or it has to be all new old stuff. Like again, like Rail Highway, like what's called Rail Canyon was cool to see come back.
We haven't seen it return in a long time.
Yeah.
I think
you
that's the biggest thing. And something I noticed too on my first playthrough was like, you know, whenever you played as Frontier Sonic in Generations or I felt like it would clash a bit too much. More so in Generation. It just the levels were not designed with that gameplay style in mind. Right. But it also, on top of the level layouts, when the level themes are being reused, that's when you start to feel that fatigue. It's like, I really wish it didn't look like this. And I think
because the highway one looks so cool too. Like
it does.
That's where the game shoots itself in the foot. It's like they say, okay, this is from Sonic's Memories. I'm like, okay, well, what's the highway one? The highway one is new. It's new. So it's like
just the levels that Sonic wasn't there for, like Skyrail,
it was
Shadow
just stuff
level,
we didn't
like,
see. Yeah, no, I know that memory thing was really dumb. Especially when like you think about like how Cyberspace is supposed to be an amalgamation of the ancients' memories.
Right.
What are you doing here? But no, I do think like it's like you got to give me more of a bounce. Like, okay, if you're gonna bring back old level layouts, at least give me more new looks to them, like the highway look, you know, like give me a new like coat of paint on them. I do like that no level did a thing where it was you go from 3D to 2D. I like that it's a 3D one or it's
one
a 2D
or the
one.
other.
Yeah,
I noticed that too, because there's some levels. I was watching this video yesterday of just like a video comparing every level to like its counterpart.
Right.
So like there are a lot of Sonic Generations levels. I feel like half the games are like taken from Sonic Generations, which is a good game to take from.
Of course,
it's a good game. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
The level layouts that are similar from you.
The
2D to 3D, 2D to 3D.
Transitioning to 2D.
Yes.
Like there's certain Sonic Generations levels that like they do the transition.
Yeah.
But because in Frontiers it's either one or the other.
It's committing,
There's some parts where they have to like take a 3D section and turn it into 2D to keep it 2D in that game.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought it was clever, but no, I agree. It's like I think like you either gotta fully commit to let's bring layout some stuff we haven't done in forever, or we just gotta.
Yeah.
So am I crazy, or is every single level an old layout, or were there new ones? Because I felt like World 4.
There's new ones.
There are
But
Okay, World 4 had
there's
new ones,
more-
right?
There's more old than new though. I
Right.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are new, right? Like I'm not
There are
crazy. Okay. Okay.
Yes, there are new.
I felt like World 4 especially had like 2 or 3.
There were
brand new
okay,
ones.
so I mentioned I watched that video yesterday. Just like going through every level and being like, okay, this is from like Sonic Adventure 2, this is from Generations. And there were some levels where like I didn't realize. And I thought I was like
Right.
pretty good at picking them out. Like I picked out
Yeah, me
most
too.
of them, but there were some levels that I'm like, "Oh my god, wait. That is Metal Harbor from Sonic Adventure 2."
Mhm.
Like I never
Right.
connected that.
Yeah.
And then they would
do
play
it in
them
a
side by
clever way.
side.
Mhm.
Yeah, because sometimes for like Metal Harbor specifically, like there's the part where like you go up to the rocket and then like
Yes.
when you go to you grab onto the rocket, it goes up. But like in Frontiers, they're not going to make like a whole rocket asset and like
exactly,
an
yeah.
animation for that, so they just have you like go in a cannon and you shoot off, and then
Yeah.
you go into that little skateboarding
little
section,
skateboard, yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
But like I didn't realize that was Metal Harbor because it was like it was all the same, but like it looked different
Yeah.
enough where I didn't realize it.
Yeah,
until, like,
that's clever in general with the game. I
Yeah.
agree with you. Yeah.
I do yeah, and I think I do kind of wish where if they were gonna I wish like if they were gonna do that like whole like levels returning type thing, that level layouts returning, they did levels like where it's a game of like which one is this one, right?
Yeah, that
So I
was,
wish
it was fun.
I wish
Like
they
trying to
grabbed
be like, okay,
more.
what is this?
I wish they got more from like Heroes, Shadow, 06.
Yeah, I
like,
agree. I agree.
Go all in. You don't do
Give
Generations.
us some deep
'cause
cuts.
that's new.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do deep cuts. Do the
Yeah,
deep
yeah,
cuts. Do what? Sonic Jam.
It sounds like just be crazy. Like I agree. It's like because if next game like they can't do it again, you know, like I feel like this is the last
I
time
hope
you can
not.
really
Never
redo
say
it.
never though.
Yeah, never
no
say
one
never. We
better
can't.
no one better be mad at me. Where if the next game I see Green Hill assets and they're going through 1-1, I'll be like, and I start yelling. No one better be like, Sam, it's okay.
I know. Like I said, they're all fun. I love them, and again, like I think replaying them has made me love them more. But yeah, I agree. Like I think next time we gotta double down on the new stuff. But yeah, so cool
It
stuff
is-
there.
Emerald
it-
Hill, no Green Hill, Emerald Hill.
The other way I
Emerald
look
Hill,
at
yeah.
it, the other
Yeah.
way, oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
The other way I
please.
look at it is like it is also kind of the reason that we have so many cyberspace levels is
Yeah,
because
I
they like
agree.
reuse the backdrops and like
Yeah.
take from previous layouts. So like I think the amount of cyberspace levels was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was very content with the amount of cyberspace levels.
Yeah.
But like if they
I'll
could
take
just like
over
go that
nothing,
extra
yeah.
mile and like if they're gonna reuse, then like reuse from things that we haven't seen.
Exactly.
But, like,
Yeah.
make it a little bit more
Yeah.
unique.
Because that's
I'd
why it
say.
was cool to see Rail Candy. Because I was like, okay, the way this looks feels different and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
And plus
you know?
with like the new physics, like it plays
Yes.
completely different. too,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah. Cool.
It's not like you're literally just playing Sonic Adventure 2. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's its own thing. It has its own kind of feel to it.
Yeah, exactly. And now, I mean, we got to talk about the biggest aspect of this game, I think, is the story. We have not touched it on. This is something that I genuinely think in the marketing, they literally showed zero of. Like, legit, we knew,
Yeah.
like, they were really keeping it serious. And I think it was for good reason. I think they did a really good job. I also think a big part of it is because a lot of this game is conversations. And I think for me, I really adored this because, and I remember I was talking to Sam about it a bit before the game came out, right? Where he was saying like, yeah, this is like the bandage game.
Yeah.
And I agreed with that. And the more I played, the more I understood of like, this is like Sonic Team. Like, I feel like if they had done this before, it would have felt weird. But like, I think we needed a game like this where you tell me what happened in the past. You talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Do these characters like know about that? Are they aware? Okay, they are, right? How do they feel about what happened? And hearing those conversations, I'm sure you two felt the same way. Like my heart melting, you know?
I felt
Just-
a rush come over me when Tails was like, when
Am
Tails
I-
mentioned Infinite, like, am I a burden to
Dude.
you? And it's like it's the same way it happened with Infinite. I was just like,
Consistent.
oh my god,
Yeah.
they're doing it. They're fixing him. Like
Yeah.
literally, like they.
yeah.
But their approach to this, and I did see some people on Twitter was like a little miffed by this. Like, well, I don't like Tails talking about. It's like, no, I like this because
I like
I
it
don't
too.
want to just move on and act like it never happened. Like it's so easy for games to do that. Sonic has done that over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where
Yeah.
the next game, like Unleashed, they acted like 06 didn't happen, or
Yeah.
like 06 didn't act like any of the other games happen, or like they always like do a refresh, like almost like a reboot.
Yeah, they
Not
never
like another
address
reboot.
past stuff. Very
It's
rarely
like,
they do.
this isn't a reboot. It's acknowledgement of everything. Yes, I remember this, but let's say it in a way where the player can relate, and they talk about it. Like Tails, and I talk about Tails because this is like a big point for me. But Tails saying like, yes, I'm inconsistent. Like yeah, like I'm
Yes, when he's
inconsistent.
like, I'm wildly inconsistent. I'm like, I
him
love that.
being frustrated on that aspect, something that the player's also frustrated on, is so smart, and it also makes it relatable too, because then it they turn it into a learning experience. Like
I agree.
everyone needs help sometimes. It's okay, and Sonic saying that, that's relatable.
Yeah.
And it's another aspect of Tails' character I appreciate now, where yes, he is independent like in Station Square. He does know what it's like, but also he is an inconsistent character, because we're all inconsistent sometimes, and it's okay to need help sometimes.
For sure.
And I like that. And you know, I could talk all day about like Knuckles and all these other characters. So I'm gonna shoot it off, and we'll bounce back and forth. Well,
yeah.
good.
No,
Let's go.
What did you think, Chaomix, of like, you know, the heavy focus on the characters this time around?
I think the characterization just a lot better in general.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like I have a few gripes, maybe like unpopular opinions, I don't know.
Okay.
But like I kind of miss Amy being a little bit more bubbly. She was kind of like
She was
very
a little depressed, yeah.
very serious in this game,
Yeah.
to the
I
point
mean,
where
honestly,
like, it was,
Amy is the one character I'm kind of excited to get past, to get to Knuckles and Tails. So
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think with Amy, it felt like, because upon replay, because I feel like, because obviously when you replay, you're on Chrono Silent a lot. Upon replay, like Amy feels like the one where like you don't really, besides her like, you know, saying, which I think is a big hint in general what they're doing with these characters. Besides her heart-to-heart moment where she's like, I want to go around the world and explore. Yeah, she is just kind of moping, you know, the whole time, and you don't really get like a character understanding of her, you know. So I know what you're talking about, you know. You're not like crazy about that.
Like, I want to feel whole again. It's like, all right.
I feel like they might be overcompensating for how like she was just like this fangirl over obsessed with Sonic, and now she's like, they're like taking like, that was one extreme and now they brought it to the other extreme. But I think like the right solution is like somewhere in the middle ground. Like I like that kind of like cat and mouse synergy that like Sonic and Amy have, where like Sonic will kind of like brush her off, and it's kind of funny. It's like comedic, but like there was
like she wasn't feisty at all, except for a little bit, you know.
There was like
tries
one
to
moment,
defend him, right?
Right, when Sage came up and then she was like defending Sonic.
Yes,
like that's where I kind of saw like a glimpse of like the Amy that I know. But other than that, like she was like very melodramatic. And I felt like it didn't fit her too well. Like I wish that she was a bit more bubbly. And then the second island is Knuckles, and I like his new voice actor. I think he's pretty good.
Me too.
Yeah,
And,
he's definitely moved a lot since TSR, and over time it's like I'm hearing it. I didn't think about it. It's like, yeah, that's Knuckles.
Their voice direction, you can just like, and obviously we got that about like Sonic. I adore what they did with Roger Craig Smith for Sonic. Like
it grew on me.
Yeah, it grew on me because it was weird at first.
It took a while, but like at the beginning it was so off-putting because it was so deep.
Yeah,
and I've seen so many people react the same way.
All the cat I've been watching. So my entire thing I've been doing since being this game is watching everyone else's reaction to this game, and a lot of them are casuals. I watched Moist Critical and all these major casual people play.
Like, why does he sound like that?
Single one of them reacts the same way in the first cuts. So that's what Sonic sounds like. Everyone. So
I watched my roommate play it. He said the same thing.
Yeah, you do get used to it. I like Roger. I do take this over Roger trying really hard. I feel like when he tries too hard, that just sounds very like, right?
Yeah.
Like in like colors. But I do like it. I do think at times there is a couple weird deliveries where it's like, you know, maybe we could go more of the OKKO route. like I do like his voices in that show,
Right.
or even Puyo Puyo Tetris 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do feel like he's like like Eggman. It's like,
My
okay,
favorite, my favorite is the one where he's just like, oh man, that's just begging to be climbed. Imagine the view. And then someone was like, this sounds like when someone's trying to impress a girl in middle school and they like use a deeper voice. But no, I agree with you.
Sounds like Ezio.
Yes,
from-
yeah, no, yeah, no, he definitely. I think to me, like, yeah, it was a little weird at first, but I think I was so like in shock at the difference that I was happy. But then to me, the best parts are when you get the glimpses of Sonic, right? Like when he's one of my favorite scenes in the game. It's such a small scene, right? When Knuckles is just like, "You're too trusting, Sonic." He's like, "No, I'm not. Trust me." Like,
yeah,
that, like stuff like that just gets me. Or even one thing I adore is like he's still Sonic. Like even when Tails tells him, "Am I a burden to you?" You still get a bit of a snarky response from Sonic.
Yeah,
he's just
like, wow.
He's like,
where did this come from?
Yeah, like where did this come from? Like it's like I like that. Like he still stayed Sonic, and in the scenes where he had to be enthusiastic, he did. He still kept this sarcasm. Like even when Sage told him like, "I know everything about you," he's like, "Oh, so you're a fan? I see." Like, there's the glimpses where he's happy, or like when he's laughing with Knuckles, my heart like melted.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is more they did it really intentionally this time to push hard of like, we want a completely different direction. Next game when things are probably, less dire maybe, or like, we've settled in this new voice style and everything, like things will get a bit more upbeat with him. But I think we did this way for now.
Yeah, they want him to have his low lows and his high highs. They don't want him to always be in the high, because that's something Sonic always been. He's always been like, when people maybe Sonic,
hey, exactly. Yeah. Now I like the mix.
To like, how high? It's not like that.
Yeah.
I think this is like by far my favorite. What is it like? This is my favorite like Roger role for Sonic.
Absolutely, 100%.
Performance,
no doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean Knuckles too. Like I adore all the stuff with Knuckles, man. I felt like that was the most endearing. Where like
it was my favorite. Like the interactions between Sonic and Knuckles and like their rivalry, where he's just like looking at him like gritting his teeth for no reason.
Sideways, the first time I was like, this is hilarious.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I love that.
I liked Knuckles, because I mentioned this on my stream. I love like Avatar: The Last Airbender, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about Avatar: The Last Airbender is Aang's character talking about how he's alone, right? And him coping with that. And I always thought how cool it would be for Knuckles to be going through the same thing, because they kind of touch upon it slightly in Adventure, but they never really go all in.
Yeah.
I love him like being like actually feeling like
he's starting to feel it. Yeah. Like
right.
Yeah. Because even in like the animated special right before launch, right? Like I just love that little dialogue he had with himself, right? He's just like, I like doing things alone. It's just my way, but sometimes, and that stuff is really cool, knowing there's a backbone is nice.
Yeah, and I like that because, that's where Knuckles' hot-headedness kind of comes from. It's because he's like, no, I like doing things alone. I like doing it my way, but it's also like, well, you don't have a choice because you are alone.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Coping with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I like that dynamic of Knuckles and them kind of going into it. Do I want it to be like that all the time? No. But I do like them kind of having that moment in this game, and that was one of the moments where I was like, I feel bad. Like I genuinely feel bad for him, and seeing Sonic like sit down next to him silently, like not knowing what to say because he knows. Him. And Sonic also picking up on that. I like that.
I like that.
Sonic
it was cool because it like contrasted Knuckles and Sonic, because like I think they talk about it in that scene, because like he doesn't know what to say, because like he literally doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because like they're opposites. Like Sonic is free. He's able to do like whatever he wants, go wherever he wants, and like Knuckles is stuck on this island like watching the Emerald, and they like have a conversation about that. And it almost sounds like Knuckles says like, "Man, I envy you, like being able to go out and do all these things whenever you want." Like it almost sounds
just
like,
tells him like, do it.
Because that's like a thing about Knuckles that like fans kind of like get a little bit like picky about. It's like, man, like he's supposed to be guarding the Master Emerald. Why is he like doing this thing?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like they were kind of trying to address that, and maybe like it almost
allow
sounded
him to
like you
go
were like
out.
foreshadowing that like Knuckles would have a reason or like a
to
way to
leave.
like
Yeah.
leave and do things.
Yeah.
Like what Knuckles needs is like a Dende, like from Dragon Ball Z, like someone else
Right.
to like watch
guard,
the
yeah.
Master Emerald.
Well, I mean, like, so they set this up for each character, which is very
They
suspicious.
set something up for each character. Yeah.
Each character. Amy
I
wants to
gotta-
go around the world. Tails says he wants to go on his own journey, and
become
Knuckles
stronger.
Yeah, Knuckles
I'm
and
about-
Sonic encourage
Knuckles
Knuckles
wants,
to
like,
leave.
independence.
So
Do it.
He wants
Can I
freedom.
say can I say what I think they're doing? Because I'm
do you-
about to say it.
say it,
Say it.
man.
It sounds like an adventure, bro.
I know it does
They're
sound
all
like an
doing-
adventure.
they're all doing their
I
own
know,
thing.
no, I know. I was playing the game and I was like, you guys have set up like, especially like, it's like, especially when it was really when I got to Tails saying it that I was like, okay, no, this is like 3
They're
for
setting
3.
something up. Yeah.
They're setting,
Yeah.
whether it's like, character specific DLC or the sequel maybe having multiple, but either way, like you are setting up the characters coming back
Yeah.
to be solo entities. It feels like.
Yeah, it
They
feels like
gotta.
that. But I was like, and I thought, I'm like, when was the last time that happened? Adventure. That's when they were doing their own thing. Knuckles
Yep.
was looking for the Emerald. Sonic
Yep.
was trying to stop Eggman. Tails was trying to follow Sonic. Amy was doing her own thing.
Yep.
And then you have these supplement characters, and I'm just like,
A game
Don't-
that could just focus
don't-
on the main
don't
ones.
get my hopes up.
I
Don't,
know.
I'm,
I
don't
know.
do
I
it.
think it's
Everything has to be Adventure 3.
It's
It's
100%
Adventure
intentional.
3.
I mean,
But whatever the next
Izuka-san
game is-
said like a few months ago, like that's
I know,
kind of like
that's what I'm thinking
what
of.
he's striving
Izuka's
to
been
do
doubling
eventually.
down, right? Like,
Yeah, I think so.
I was talking about this in a lot of videos this year of like, it is really weird, especially this year, how many interviews Izuka keeps saying, I'd love to make Adventure 3. I want to remake Adventure. If my favorite Sonic game is Adventure 2. It's like he is really like doubling down on mentioning, talking about Sonic Adventure, and I think it makes sense. I feel like, obviously we have Frontiers right now, so I feel like if anything, most likely is that the next game maybe has a second playable character. Like you get segments, sort of like maybe a
even
better
if it's
version.
not Adventure 3, like
Yes,
as
yeah.
long
It
as
doesn't have to be
they
titled
kind of
Adventure
keep
3, but they have that style where
Right,
you can
exactly.
play
Yeah.
characters and they're doing their own. It's
I'd
an
be
adventure.
perfectly fine with that.
It's an
In spirit,
adventure.
yeah.
But it's not a Sonic adventure. It's not Sonic Adventure, but it is
exactly.
an adventure.
Because even like this game, right, is like, it's a lot of shades of Sonic Adventure, right? You have your open areas where you're doing stuff, and then you're going to action stages, right?
Yeah, you got
Obviously,
that
it's a way
style
more
of
fleshed
physics
out version of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really do hope that was a setup. And how do you guys feel? So obviously, I mean, we also have Sage, right? So how do you guys feel about Sage? She's the new girl,
She's
Right.
awesome. Like,
She's cool.
I think she's the best character since Shadow.
Wow. Okay. So you really love her. Okay.
Yeah, I really like Sage.
Mm-hmm.
I like Sage. It's just that ending. I was like, and I don't know if we're gonna talk about the ending separately.
We can talk about. I mean, we're in story time, so you can do endings
So
talk.
Sage, I liked her character. I actually like the whole her being like an Eggman daughter type.
That is
thing in a way.
insane. I couldn't
Do I
believe that.
think the game kind of built up to it? Well, not really, but I feel like the Eggman logs kind of help with that. They kind of like ease you into it. I recommend it. Why, if you're gonna play this game before you beat the game,
Absolutely, 100%.
all the Eggman logs.
Yes, you need to.
But I like that idea because, it's just I don't know where they're gonna go
I agree. Yeah.
with her from here because like the ending, right? She dies.
Mm.
And then her last wish to Sonic was
Take care of.
take
Dad.
care of my father.
Yeah.
Sonic just fucking ignores her.
Of course.
And then Eggman builds her again.
Mhm.
So what
Is-
does Sonic like? What does Sage
Right,
still?
yeah.
It's
That's yeah.
So my thing, it's like I like her character here, but it almost amounts to like, it's almost like a reset. It's like all of it was for nothing. So it's like what I'm thinking is like after this game with her, is
Right.
it like I hope if Sage continues on, which it looks like she is, it's a new Sage. He had to rebuild her from the
Right,
ground
that's
up.
what I was thinking.
in the Sage that was in Frontiers is actually dead.
It would kind of ruin her character arc if they didn't do it that way. It's like Shadow. It would be another Shadow where he like redeems himself at the end, but then like he's just like the bad guy because like plot convenience, and they really find a way to like.
I don't know. It's just like I just don't know, because like if they do keep it the Sage from Frontiers, Sonic can't go after Eggman.
It's weird. Yeah, like.
Promise.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good thing that maybe they can set up like new villains, right? And obviously, Eggman's still going to be a problem, as always, you know. And I really love the scene in the game where he says, like, I respect Sonic, you know, I don't have to like him. That was very IDW, obviously, influence. But, you know, I agree with you. Like, I couldn't tell by the end of it of like, is the next game going to be like Sage is just an AI because he couldn't physically rebuild her in the real world? Is it going to be a thing? Because he uses the Zap logo thing, which we still don't fully get.
Well, that's right. So that's the thing. It's like the Sage in Frontiers is not just the Sage that he built, because she even said in the game he built her base code, but she became more advanced when she was connected to cyberspace.
Right. Okay.
Is the Sage in going on the still connected to cyberspace, or is it just Sage all Eggman?
Right.
All Eggman Sage. Yeah. So I don't know.
I wonder.
But you know, regardless, the Sage that we have in Frontiers is good. I do like her character, and I like her being like Eggman's like next lackey, just more smart, not really Orbot Cubot, not anymore. Actually smart. And having respect for like Tails, like you like I like that. But it's just that the whole story part of her not being able to tell Sonic why what he's doing is bad bothered me, because she's like, I can't tell you solution. I can't share data with the enemy, and Eggman didn't authorize it, you know, that whole thing. And I get it, they tried to play into that, but in the game she still gives Sonic information. She still like asks her like, are my friends gonna be okay? She goes, yeah, they seem fine, they seem stable.
Yeah, she gives like a smart ass response of like, it seems like their calculation, their like probability of surviving are like high, you know. She's being cheeky about it, but
if your main priority is to protect Eggman, why don't you just tell him, don't do this, you're going to cause the end of the world and kill everyone, including Eggman. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It feels like that was the only part with Sage that bothered me. It's like, I feel like they kind of wrote her a little bit into a corner. It's like, they probably should have just did one more draft through to like kind of seal that little loophole. But outside of that, I like her character. She's far more interesting than like Infinite or the Deadly Six.
Absolutely.
I know that's a super low bar, but she's really a more interesting character introduced since Silver in 06.
I agree. That's a good pick too. Silver, she follows like, I don't think she's to me as cool as like, you know, Blaze, Silver, Shadow, which I would say was the last big three. But she's definitely one of the most interesting. And I hope she's like, I'm not sitting there being like, I hope Sage is playable, you know, like she doesn't come off that way to me. It's a very different kind of introduced character to the series. But no, I really like her. And I gotta say it though, and I don't know if you guys are the same, because I laughed at it, and I don't know if you guys did, when she's crying, but she's showing like cutscenes from like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, where she's like destroying the helicopters and I was playing the sad music.
Me and Evan laughed so hard.
It's so fun. I don't know.
It was so weird. It's like,
it was.
Maybe if they showed something else,
they should have made a cutscene up, bro. No, showing Eggman just yelling at her and there's a flashback. It's like, this is weird.
Yeah, it's like maybe if they showed like a flashback of like when Eggman was building her.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think that would have been cool, but like
something more sentimental, not
don't
just like a
standing at the edge of the highway of the I thought that was definitely a weird scene. Like, it's like I definitely wasn't alone laughing at that. I was like, that is a weird scene for sure.
I thought it was kind of funny, and like maybe this is more of like a gameplay issue, not like a story issue, but like you first meet Sage and like she tries to kill you, and like then she disappears, and then you see her just kind of like standing there, and you can just like talk to her casually. It's like, Like you're just and she goes along with it too.
Mhm.
Oh, and the funny thing is, like she's like, get off this island. Like you can't be here. Get off this island. And then you talk to her and you don't have enough like hearts or whatever.
Tokens,
and she's like preparations haven't been complete. Please continue exploring the island. It's like this is like the opposite of what you just told me to do.
So weird. You know,
it's for sure.
I don't really have a problem with the cutscenes being static and him standing around because I understand there's a lot of it's a kind of a trade-off. There is some cutscenes where there's movement, but because this is a game, they're gonna have cutscenes where they kind of have him just standing around, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Right. The main thing is like the conversations between them.
Yes.
It does weird when it's Sage though, because it's like she just tried to kill you.
Yeah.
I just don't like that she's like on eye level 3 feet away from you.
Yeah. I wish they like started doing that on Island 2, because when you're on the first island of the game and you've gone into this game thinking she's gonna be, you know, I knew she wasn't gonna be evil from the market. I was like, there's just no way. She's like a little kid. But it was the thing of like, at least make it a bit later in the game, because like right away when I talked to her in a casual cutscene, I'm like, okay, you're not evil. Like this isn't gonna be an issue.
Literally from like the first what is like the freaking social link that you do with her. You're like, okay, she's kind of chill. Like there's obviously some kind of misunderstanding. I wish that like there was like a bigger misunderstanding, and it's not that like Sage isn't just like telling you what you need to know.
Right.
Like I wish that like there was some kind of like, actual conflict.
For sure.
And like Sonic and Sage kind of like went at it for like the first few islands, like being rivals and like fighting each other. Like I wish there was a Sage boss fight, like a mini boss.
Yeah, that would have been fire.
I was gonna say, I wish, because the CGI cutscene, the CGI trailer in this game showed Sonic trying to punch Sage.
When you go to punch her,
use, right? He tried to punch a child, but my point is like, like he tried to punch her, but it's no use. I wish somewhere in the game that was the case, because then after that they could have been like, okay, I'll forgive them for having Sage in front of Sonic, because it shows like him trying to attack her is not gonna work. Yeah. I wish there was something in the game. Maybe just have her like floating around the world, and like it tricks the player. Like they try to attack her, and then like there's a cutscene showing him actually getting hurt. Like something. Yeah, something wild. For sure. Also another thing is like obviously a big part of the game is the main big thing about this game is the past. So now we know, I guess, where the Chaos Emeralds come from. And the scream I let out the first time I saw those alien things, I was like, Chaos? Like why are these Chaos people? Like, what's going on here? Like, cause that shocks you the first time. You're like, oh shit, like this
me too.
has something to do with Chaos. It's wild.
Going into
I did a double take.
Lore. They're going into deep lore, and that's interesting. But it does raise so many questions.
It does.
And I think they knew it. They knew it would, and they purposely like.
The series needed new questions to talk about. Yeah.
I think knowing the origin now of the Chaos Emeralds like is good. Like they're from an alien planet. Those people were the original ancestors of Chaos. It makes sense, you know, that the Cocos are basically ancient Chows essentially. Kind of. And then Cyberspace where their memories are stored. But yeah, I thought that was like, even like the fact that Island 4, like Ray Island, is just lore dump, you know, like it's you climb up the tires, it's just lore dump. I'm like, and it was blowing my mind. I was like, this is wild that they're doing this.
But it's so cool. The Master Emerald was always on Sonic's planet. Right.
I feel like that's still the one question mark, right?
Well, and it's not really. It's like so. I guess that means his world is special in some way, and the Emerald. We're drawn to the Emerald, which is cool. I guess the real question for me, because we do see in the Eggman logs, like Eggman says, okay, the ancients are descendants of Chaos, right? Which is cool. But there was also this theory that, from what I thought it was a fan theory, but I was actually corrected last night that it was not a fan theory. This was on their official website back in the day. They said Chaos was a mutated Chao.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, and I'm hoping this is like what leads into like the next story or some sort of comic. I want them to go into that where we go from the ancients to Chaos, and how the Chao get incorporated. Because I have my headcanon, like you mentioned, like the Coco becoming the Chao.
Right. Yeah.
I think that would be cool, but it's also that whole thing of like, but wait, but the Coco are totems. They're like they hold
Right.
their soul. So it's like,
Right.
how does that convert? And there is that one part. There is one part I last night when I was going through the Eggman logs again, where
Keep
Eggman
talking.
said,
Oh, yeah, to use the bathroom real quick.
"You're good." There is that one part in the Eggman logs where they mentioned that over time regarding Chaos, he mutated by, I think, radiation. So it was something like that, and I'm just like, oh, so it's the emeralds. The emeralds changed Chaos into what he is. I definitely want there to be more lore into that. We want them to go deeper into that in the future. But for right now, it raises all the right questions. It allows us time to like go into like those forums and like argue about it for 5 years before they actually answer it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Like, I think they did a really good job at leaving things unanswered, so we could try to figure them out and piece them together. In the meantime, like, you know, they'll probably explain it eventually in like some future game, but like in the meantime, it gives us a lot to kind of like snack on and just like talk about, which is really cool. I feel like there hasn't really been a Sonic game that has left like these like crazy like the implications of like some of the things.
Yeah, exactly.
So big, and they just kind of leave it at that and let you.
Since like Colors, there's been nothing. There's been nothing.
Yeah, no substance. It's
been Saturday morning cartoon ever since. It doesn't matter because then after when the next game comes out, the last game wouldn't matter. Like,
exactly.
So
and that's why I'm so happy that just like, even though this game is very small scale, I like that because we needed this so that whenever we get something in the future, it's just, here's our new storyline and a new thing we've built, instead of like, hey, let's mend things, because I think we needed this mending and fixing of stuff, you know. So no, I think overall story stuff was super dope. And yeah, I mean, that's most of the points. What do you think? Like, oh, the one thing I want to mention is I'm really disappointed that the whole thing with Sonic getting corrupted amounted to nothing, because he gets corrupted.
Okay, that's another thing.
And I was so sad because there was nothing more cool than when you're on Rhea Island and he's getting completely messed up, right? And then like I was like, oh my god, like Sonic is gone.
Like, he's like limping to the last thing, and like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen?
And even like when he fully like is gone, I was like sad. But then they just do like power of friendship anime. He's back. I was like, what?
Yeah, I feel like this is probably another thing that's like on the cutting room floor. They had to have been building up to something, because
I agree.
One of the first things we said, okay, so we're playing a Supersonic right away. We do it 3 times, and we're like, okay, the final has to be different. Granted, it was, but we'll go into that.
It was.
Oh
yeah, we didn't mention that.
Yeah, we're like, okay, they're building up to something, and it doesn't go anywhere, and that's where it's like, damn, like that would have been cool though to have another for a new era, to have another super form. It's not like this is something that will happen all the time. It's just like a one-time thing. It's like a Cybersonic.
Yeah, a Cybersonic,
even like Sonic, something like that.
Yeah, because that was a big theory, right? But I think maybe like, because maybe we thought Izuku was bullshitting, because they did say they don't want to do more super forms. Maybe they weren't bullshit. Maybe they just don't want to do more super forms, you know?
It might it might not have been a super form. Like, it could have just been like a corrupted Sonic.
Yes, or like a new move, like, you know? Like something.
Or just a corrupted Supersonic. That's literally all it is. And like, because, you know, the ancients used the emerald, so it's not unbelievable to assume the cyber energy and the emeralds are compatible.
Yes. Exactly.
So I just they didn't go anywhere with it, and the power of friendship immediately brought him back. And it's like,
I was like, come on, man.
I still don't like really understand what happened.
What they did. No, I think what they did is they went
fixed him.
They took it back. They took the corruption back, and they went back into cyberspace.
They went back into cyberspace,
but they didn't explain that.
Yeah.
I think it's like that's my head.
Well, I mean, okay, so first of all, it is completely insane.
Were they ever out of cyberspace though?
They were
on Ray Island. They're out of it.
Yeah, when Sonic takes out the last tower and everything turns red,
that's I feel like the way I saw it was like when Sonic was like, he did the last tower and he was just like super corrupted. Like he was in cyberspace with his friends.
Oh, you
because,
saw
like,
he was in
corrupted that
cyberspace
it like
with them.
took him into it with them.
Okay,
Yeah,
That's
that
how
makes
I
for
saw
sense.
some
it.
reason, the next cutscene after, they're in the normal world. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason, they're in the red world and they all spawn, and it looks like that for a second. But then it cuts to black, and then suddenly
Yeah.
they're all in the normal world.
Well,
It's very weird.
well, I mean, speaking of fucking weird, what the fuck was the end? Like the boss,
All right.
the end.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Listen.
I
So
still
here's my
don't really know
headcanon.
what.
So
I
the
still
moon-
don't know what he is. Like,
So the
listen,
moon.
yeah,
The
we
moon
have
was
2 moons
mad.
now.
The moon was mad that it got pissed on.
Yes, yes,
So-
that's the kid.
Yeah.
It tried to come back and piss on the earth. That's
Mhm.
literally all. That's my headcanon. It makes the most sense. I don't
Dude,
know.
I was.
Put that in the wiki page.
the wiki, dude. Like, I was
Official
like
canon.
losing my mind because I was like, okay, so you have to play on hard. First of all, it's insane that if you don't play on hard mode, it just cuts to this.
I didn't know
I find that insane.
I had to like talk to people, and they were like, "Man, that last boss fight, like, it's just a bunch of QTEs." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I have
Yeah,
a
no-
story.
It's like a whole
Uh,
sequence. It's like a fight.
Oh, Sam, right? You told me this, right?
I have a story. So I don't think so.
Oh, no, it's different. Okay.
But so when I was playing with the strategy guide team, we were all playing the game around the same time because again we're getting ready, for the
Yeah.
we're trying to play the game and get used to it so we could do the speech strats and
Mhm, mhm.
also I had the symphony and the trailer stuff. I played through the game
Okay.
and I was actually one of the last to beat it. Because some of them no lifed it, but I had to go to bed. I was like, I'm tired.
Right,
So
I-
by like pilot 4, I was like, this is a good time for me to go to bed.
Right. Right.
Which was also, but quick side note, felt great to go to bed, wake up knowing I still have a Sonic game to beat.
Yeah.
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 Anyways, so they were telling me the ending. I told them don't tell me about the ending.
Okay.
And they told me they're like the ending is super quick and it's super underwhelming. I'm like, oh okay. I played through it and I get to the Toho, and I play it. And I was telling them about it. I'm like, man, that was so weird. Why it turned into a shooter? And they're like, what are you talking about?
And they're like, what?
Now you're just like, what are you talking about? What do you like? It just
Yeah.
and I'm like,
That's
no,
hilarious.
you guys didn't play the part where it's like, and for
That's
about
so
an
funny.
hour, we thought, is the game bugged? Like, did you guys skip it?
Oh
and I
my
was showing them, they were
God.
freaking out. They're like, we don't have this. And then come to find out, if you
It's a
play on
hard mode
normal,
thing.
or
Wow.
yeah.
Mm.
but
Yeah,
yeah, no.
you told me that. I remember that you were like,
Yeah.
you told me before launch, you're like, if you're gonna do this, do it on hard. you
Oh
know?
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to play it on hard.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's so Toho. It was- honestly,
what
I
an
don't
interesting
hate-
thing.
I wouldn't hate it if it wasn't for the fact that Supreme was so easy.
Right.
If Supreme was twice as hard,
Mhm.
I would have forgiven it. It's like, okay, it's a little extra thing. It's a little
So here's the
extra.
thing. I
But yeah, go
I
ahead.
think like as a Kirby fan, I've seen this, you fight the boss. If you guys play Kirby, you fight the big boss at the end, and then the last thing is some like space shooter or something completely random, or you fight the galaxy. Like there's a very Kirby thing to happen in this game. And I was like, I remember on stream I was doing it, and I was just in shock. Like I wasn't mad, I wasn't happy, I was just in pure shock that. And it's not even like it's like hard. Like it's really hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. It's really
It's
hard.
crazy. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is insane. And you have this thing that you have no idea about, which is good. I'm glad we're back to eldritch godly beings in Sonic. But you just have this thing monologuing, being like, I am infinite. I am everything. You have fought you have done so many. And I was like, what the fuck is going
When
on
I
here?
heard it, I was like, wait, what?
I was like, is
for
this
a
like a
quick second,
Phantom
I'm like,
Ruby thing?
Because when they say when it says I am infinite, the voice gets deep and it sounds like
Yeah, yeah,
infinite.
yeah. I
I'm like,
know.
Got like the two
What?
voices. It's like a higher pitched voice and like a really low pitched voice, and it kind of like the low pitched voice kind of sounds like infinite. So I was like, wait.
I'm like, wait,
thought this
wait,
was
I'd be like, wait, that would actually be
Just a
cool.
second.
It actually might be the opposite, though. But no,
Yeah.
so I don't. But looking back, the end, is it an AI? Is it a god? Is it a moon? Is that really it?
That's
it's a
Chaomix,
moon?
dude.
The
He's the
whole
Lord,
thing
dude.
the whole thing with the end is like really confusing because like I think it's in Island 4 where you get like the lore dump. You learn that like the ancients pilot these mechs to like
Yes.
fight the end, and like the fourth mech, the one that you fight like on the last island
Yeah.
right before the final boss.
Yeah.
Like they use that mech, like that guy sacrificed himself to like
Yeah.
seal the end within him.
Mhm.
And
Right.
Okay, but
it was really confusing because
they're
'cause
still
he's-
fighting something.
they were like still fighting something, and they went extinct essentially.
And okay, and there is
Um,
something that was brought to my attention last night, which
Okay.
I think again confirms this is like the part where the budget just ran out.
Mhm.
Right before you fight the Toho boss,
Mhm.
it says use the Titans plural. It has use
Oh,
the Titans
really?
plural
Oh.
at the end, and I'm like, oh, like there was something more to this. And
Yeah.
my guess is maybe the Titans were still fighting like its true form, but like
Mhm.
I feel like they were
why-
gonna do something where like
yeah.
each of the ancients that like piloted the Titans, they were gonna like somehow like revive, like their spirits would like
Yeah.
possess the Titans, and they would like fight with you or something,
Mhm.
and like you'd finish them off
Yes,
together.
because Sonic also in the beginning of the fight is talking. He's like, "They took your whole world.
Yeah.
You're
And
you're gonna
do
let
it
the-
again." I'm like, "Are you talking?"
He's
to
not talking to
Yeah, you're
anyone.
talking to Sage?
talking to Sage? She doesn't have anything to do with this. Like,
Yeah,
it's so.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean,
Something-
technically, I guess it is Sage's world, but I don't know.
But it was.
it's weird.
So,
it was addressed to like the ancients,
Yeah.
but like none
The
of them
way-
were there for
so
that.
weird. The way I look at this final boss is kind of like Sonic Generations, and I'm just like, would you? You know,
Right.
it's like. I would probably put this over Sonic Generations final boss in terms of gameplay, because at least you have to try.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's not
It's
annoying. You don't have 10 voices.
But like the Time Eater was something that just came and went.
Mm.
This just came and went. I don't know what this is, and after playing it,
It leaves me more
I don't
questions.
know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, mean,
But it
I don't know if I'm ever going to see it or not. Like, maybe it's still, like, someone was telling me that, like, it's still there. Like, it's not gone. It's one of many ends or something.
I don't
Like-
know about that.
I don't know. Like, I don't think it's gone. I don't, like, I don't know. It's weird. It's really.
maybe it was just the way that it ended so anticlimactically
Mhm.
that like it just doesn't seem like
Yeah.
you really finished it. Like
Yeah.
it just seems like something that powerful. Like it wiped out the entire like ancient race.
Mhm.
That like it should have taken more. Like it should have. There should have
Yeah.
been more fanfare to it. Like there's
Yeah.
no fanfare. Like when
Mhm.
you beat it.
The only
Yeah.
thing that's weird to me about this too is the fact that that's the only Sonic character I could draw.
Yeah. There you go.
did it.
There you go. The end of the circle, bro.
Yeah.
There he is, man. Just a big moon. Second
Like, what-
canonical Sonic moon to get destroyed. So
It's so
Love to see it.
unforgettable. It's so forgettable, man.
yeah, it's very
I just
very
don't
weird.
get it either. Like what does the end want to do? Like
I
why
don't
is she going
know.
after the ancients?
It-
The ancients. She like
It's like the Grim
She,
Reaper.
like-
It's just the
It's like a
embodiment
pure
of ending.
evil. Yeah, because it was
I guess
even
so.
guiding Sonic, right? But what was it? Was it guiding Sonic to destroy it or
to
Yeah.
free it basically.
to free it? Okay, yeah, okay. So it was guiding you to
It
free
was,
it. Okay,
it was
yeah.
trapped in the Titan, and like
Okay, that
Sonic
makes
had to like
sense.
break down the walls between dimensions.
Right,
And
okay.
doing that would free the end.
Okay, okay.
Thanos.
But yeah, like how did the ancients go extinct? Because they trapped the end.
Well, I assume they left their home planet and like most of them died, so maybe they just didn't
No,
reproduce.
so
or...
it sounds like the end was still firing on the Earth and it was wiping them out.
Right.
Because they have
And
all the flashbacks of like the wars and everything,
Right.
and like the Coco, just the Coco in general are like
yeah.
they're basically like the souls of the ancients that like haven't moved on because
Mhm.
like they didn't fulfill the thing they were trying to do.
right.
Yeah.
And I think Eggman says they were wiped out within a generation. Within a generation.
Right.
So he sounds like some of them. I think he even said like some of them carried on.
Mhm.
So, but it wasn't enough, and they still went extinct. It sounds like, which is what that cutscene was. It sounds like the only group that survived was the ones that took. They said that there's gonna be, hopefully it doesn't come to this, but there's gonna be a small group that takes the emeralds to the bigger one.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what they said. And clearly that's the case. That's what happened is they
Hmm.
were on their last stand. Their army was completely wiped out. So all they had now were those Titans that sealed it. Didn't destroy it, but it sealed it. But it was only that small group left. And yeah. The one that probably moved on, because the ones that were in the Titans probably died.
Yeah.
But the ones that moved on were the ones that took the emeralds that took care of the map
yeah.
emeralds. And that's where I'm like, I want to know that story.
Yeah,
What
Right.
I agree.
knows?
I'm so conflicted because, like, I want to believe that Ian Flynn thought all of this out, and like, there's a reason for not like kind of explaining it. Like, there is like something that happened, and maybe it's something
Right.
that we can't piece together. But at the same time, like, it just seems like there's so many things cut from this game that
Yeah.
like could have just been something that like got messed up because
Yeah,
of
exactly,
like
yeah.
weird
Sounds
corporate
like-
decisions and like
It sounds like
deadlines.
from what it sounds like he said in interviews too. It sounds like he didn't make up the concept of the story. Like,
Yeah.
Sega gave him like, this is what the story is. This
Yes.
is where it's leading to. You just need to write
it.
make it
Right,
make
right.
sense.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he did it to the best of his ability.
Mm.
But it does sound like probably something was cut, or maybe the
Yeah.
ending they gave him just there was no way around it. It's like, what the hell do I do?
Right.
He did his best. I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure, but yeah, it definitely sounds like. I'm hoping at the very least there's something we could look forward to later
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
fixes this. You know,
I agree, man. But yeah, no, I think we covered most aspects of the game and everything. And I think at the end of the day, we can give each our closing thoughts. I think at the end of the day, like, I left this game the happiest I've been playing a Sonic game since like generations. Like, I really think, like, for a 3D game, Mania was the last time I really adored a Sonic game, which is still 5 years ago. But the last time I really left a 3D game so happy was Generations. And it just feels good to feel back. And the good thing about this is it doesn't, because I know some people would get annoyed when people say, oh, the potential is here, because they'll be like, well, I've heard this before. But like, to me, because here, it's not
this
one of
has
the
genuine potential.
because here's the thing, this game isn't wasted potential. This game is, the foundation is awesome, so the potential of what's going to be better is even better.
Yeah,
right.
Like, it's like when it's like Spider-Man 1, the game, the new one to the next one. Like, it has so much potential, to grow and stuff. Like, that's how I felt playing this. Where like, I loved so much about it. I love the combat, I love the Cyberspace, I love the open zones, and I love the story. And then I just look at all that, I'm like, when next game, when we get that, it's gonna be like ratcheted up, and it's gonna be incredible. And I still think to this day, like, the supersonic highs of the first 3 times are like the best the series has ever had for me. So overall, I really adore this game. And also, we didn't say it, fuck you, Elder Coco.
Oh my god, bro. Jesus.
Awful. Thank you for I know the person who made it, the mod to speed it up. Like, thank you, because
There's a mod? Oh, thank
there's a
God.
mod. There's a mod where basically you just spam
Thank
very
God.
quickly. He like goes floating like in like a frame. I don't know what they were thinking with that one. Like, the other Coco is amazing. Hermit, which one is the tall one? Is it the Hermit one?
Hermit one,
I think it's Hermit, and he's cool.
Cool.
Hermit's
Hermit
awesome.
is great.
I
I
go
love
up
Hermit.
up with him every night, and I get drinks. He's cool.
He is great. He's
Fuck
nice.
Elder, man.
Elder,
He sucks.
bro. He
The
sucks,
worst,
yeah.
dude.
Close that
Absolutely.
damn out.
Trying to get my platinum trophy. I'm like sitting there for an
Oh
hour
my
just
God.
like mashing the X button.
God, it's tough. Yeah. What about let's go, Chaomix. Closing thoughts.
Sonic Frontiers is really cool. If you're a
Perfect.
Sonic fan, you should play it. If like you've ever been a Sonic fan, and maybe like you're not so much anymore, maybe give it a shot. I think it's like a game that a lot of new and old fans will appreciate.
Absolutely.
It's very different, but like in a really good way. So I think like it's just like a pretty good entry point. Like it feels like this is the first AAA Sonic game
Yes.
that like they really went all out in.
Yeah.
It's like a full $60 game, which I like was super happy when I heard
Me
about
too,
it.
yeah.
Like I think Forces came out, it was like $40.
was 40, yeah.
And like when I'm like, is this like gonna be worth my time then? Is this like gonna be some kind of like weird like PlayStation Network exclusive
Yeah,
like
yeah.
DLC only game or something?
Yeah.
Like no, this is like a full game. It's awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's got like a lot of really good aspects that I've been just like craving ever since like Generations, and like even like certain aspects for like Sonic Adventure.
Yeah. I agree.
Like the adventure fanboy in me, like I think I was fed pretty well. Like
Yeah.
it was good.
Cool.
In terms of story and like even gameplay elements. It was a good game, and I think like the sequel can only hopefully get better. Like I know like we've said this before,
I know,
like with
yeah.
Sonic Generations,
Of
like man,
course.
that was awesome. Like Sonic is back, like he finally kind of figured it out. But like and they like dropped the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, I think Sonic is in like a completely different place than he
Absolutely.
was back then. Like he's too big to let that happen to
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
And I think like this new formula is like it has to be the new template. Where
Yes,
like
exactly.
the boost formula was the template for the last 10 years, and like this new template
Agreed.
should be the template for like this coming decade.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, no. So, Frontiers is a good game. I had a great time with it. I've played the game through 5 times now, and I could see myself playing through it again. There's meat to this game. That's something I could say that the other games have in a long time. There's actual meat here. There's stuff to sink your teeth into. There's lore stuff. There's gameplay stuff. There's a lot of stuff you can talk about for years to come that I feel like this game will easily, let us allow us time to like till the next thing to like talk about and play.
Good.
Frontiers is not a perfect game. No game ever is, but it is the most consistent Sonic game in a long time. And because of that, that's why I think like what everyone else is saying here, it's like I'm excited for the next title more so than ever, because while we have always said this for the next title, like games after like Sonic Lost World, I didn't care where Sonic was going to do after Sonic Boom, I didn't care. After Sonic Forces recently, I was like
depressed.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care. Like I care. Like I hope it's good, but I wasn't like clamoring like, oh, it's going to be good. This is now a time where I am genuinely excited for the next game.
Yeah.
Seems like they have a vision in mind for the next few games. Which at the end of Forces, like there was really nothing.
But that's what's
it all
great.
Kind of fell apart.
For them to openly say, no, this is the direction we want to take Sonic for the next 10. That's trying to hear to know, like, okay, so they're not throwing this formula out. They can't.
No, exactly.
I just want them going forward. I think yes, they should just tweak it. Probably adding momentum-based platforming into the mix of the open world format and design around that as well. Having just maybe a slightly tighter story, slightly tighter, just to round it off and maybe patch up some loose ends. More playable characters.
Yes.
And essentially, like, give the team more. We need a bigger team, and we need more money. That's essentially it. Like they have these great ideas. They just need the time and the resources to make it happen. They have the idea. They have the passion. They have really high energy right now, which is great to hear, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
In fact, something I learned last night to kind of end it off is apparently the ending song from Nate Wants to Battle.
Oh yeah.
That's
it's about Sonic.
It's about Sonic Team.
Team, yeah.
I love it.
When you listen to the lyrics, saying like they thought we would fail, they thought we would lose.
Yeah. Even when they laugh through stuff, I love all that. Yeah.
You can tell their morale in the company is high, and that's great. And their morale is high when they're high up in spirits. I think we're gonna get a great title. So with that said, for Sonic Frontiers was a great game. A great foundation for the future, and we're excited for Sonic now. I'm
absolutely,
hyped.
man. Everything like we're getting like again next month we got Sonic Prime still,
Prime.
Yeah, and
the
Knuckles show.
And then on top of that we have the games. There's so much shit.
Yeah. Again, they have yet to really do it, which is a new 2D one too. They've said they still want to satiate 2D fans, and they did it, with Origins. Obviously conflicting opinions about it, but they had something for it. So either way, and movies and everything. Yes, I'm just everything just feels like we're on, and even like comics doing incredibly well. It just feels like we're in a very good place all overall, man. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so guys, that's gonna be it. Of course, obviously in the comments, let us know what you guys love the most about the game, what you want them to improve and everything, and plug yourselves a little bit. So go, Chaomix, give yourself a little plug.
You can find me on YouTube at Chaomix. I just do like silly Sonic video discussions. I draw, I do music sometimes, I program, I try to do a little bit of everything.
Cool, perfect.
Yeah, you can find me there or on Twitter.
And then Mr. Sam, bro.
I am Sam Procrastinates. I do a lot of reactions, reviews, let's plays, live streams, and playthroughs. The future for my channel is I have a lot of stuff planned for the future.
Okay.
And yeah, just look forward to it. Thank you guys.
All
Thank
right.
you, Mel, for the opportunity, man. Appreciate
Of course.
Thanks for having us on. Yeah.
Of course, that was great. I needed us. We had to do this. So, all right, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Y'all are the best. Of course, we'll see you all next time. Peace.